Before we get rolling, I want to take a minute to recognize the individuals who keep this show alive, the people and brands that truly support the hog dog community and the lifestyle we stand for. HardcoreHogDogs.com. Custom gear, built tough for the woods. From vests to collars, every stitch is made to protect the dogs that make it happen. Call up Mr. Michael Spieler and use Tusks and Tales for a discount that's as solid as his craftsmanship. Boars and Broads, a lifestyle brand built around grit, grind, and good times. Whether you're in the woods or on the town, they've got something for every dogger out there. Use code TNT at checkout and show your support for the culture. To Be Hog Dogs, Mr. Kenneth and Tequil Smith, two brothers, one passion, a family-based operation that lives and breathes hog dogs, keeping the tradition strong one hand at a time. HogTurnal Headlamps. When the sun sets, their lights come alive. Built for hunters who need reliability, range, and custom setups made just the way you like them. Feel free to reach out to me directly to get yours made. To every one of these supporters and to the listeners who stand behind us, we thank you. Without y'all, none of this would be possible. This is Tusks and Tales, where the dogs, the hunt, and the stories come alive. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to Tusks and Tales. Today we got an awesome guest that I've talked to quite frequently. He's a great guy. He's actually done a lot of, well, I won't necessarily say a lot. He can speak for it in the episode, but he's done some volunteer work with veterans, taking them on hunts, stuff like that. So if you're a vet, maybe sit around and listen a little bit. Maybe he could get you in the right direction on where to go get on one of these hunts if you're not in a hog state, in a hog hunting state. Now, guys, I got a few announcements to make right away. Number one, we're joined by a brand new guest. Y'all know I gotta introduce him. Beckett Adams. He is 5 days old today, y'all. That's why we've been 6 days old. Sorry, I was just corrected. 6 days old. That's why we've been kind of off the air right now. We were getting the house ready and everything, so we'll get it all back up and going, and there should be steady podcasts coming in left and right. Now, something new we're going to add to the podcast is I said I would never be that guy that doesn't respond to everybody, but then, to be honest with y'all, it started getting a little, it's not overwhelming, it's just, I get sidetracked when I'm reading multiple different questions or messages regarding this guest, that guest, and I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'll open it, and I feel bad, but I won't respond sometimes. So I'm not going to do that no more. I'm going to jot down everybody's questions, which I started taking in my notes. We're going to cover a couple of them in this episode. So if y'all have any questions, if you want me to say your name, I'll say so-and-so from wherever has a question regarding this, and I'll ask the guest. Now, don't get carried away with a 40-page question, okay, y'all? Now, just some, if you got a good one, send it to me, and I'll ask it. I'll do about 3 or 4 of them per episode, and if you would like me to mention who you are and where you're from and what you're asking, we'll do that so you know it's your question. If you don't want me to, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll still relate the question. I've done it a couple times before. I just never stated the individuals' names. Now, other than that, y'all, I can't thank y'all enough. We've got more countries. I have to look back at the analytics. I have not looked at any of the analytics much lately due to the arrival of our son. We've kind of stayed a little busy. Now, I can't thank y'all enough. But one thing I ask is y'all get on there, like, share, subscribe, especially on YouTube and Spotify. It helps us keep going. Like I said, this takes a lot of time, y'all. We don't get paid for it. So, if y'all want to continue to hear them and keep multiple podcasts coming, that's all I ask. You ain't got to spend a single dollar. Just click that like, subscribe, share it, tell your buddies about it. It don't matter. Just share it. Now, with that being said, let's get this guest to introduce himself, tell us where he's from, and what kind of dogs he runs.
All right, Mr. Allen, I'm Michael Smith. little small town in southeast Texas is Spurger, Texas. You'll have to look on the map for that. There's a lot of people who've never heard of it, but yeah, we just we hunt. We have to work in order to be able to fund that. But we do a lot of hog hunting, do a little bit of deer hunting, but for the most part, we run a bunch of cur and hound cross dogs. Nothing in particular. I tried a lot, but what's been working for me is my brother's been breeding dogs for coming up on 30 years, and it was just basically hound cur crosses that he kind of put together, kind of breed the good dogs to the good dogs, and that's where we're at.
I like that. Now, come on, Mr. Michael. We said hound and cur. New listeners that are out there, trying to reach out to individuals on getting their hands on some dogs like this, could you please inform them, hey, whether it's your line or you're breeding them to another line, maybe they could try it. Just let them know a little bit about the line that you have there.
Well, these dogs here, they're mixed bred mutts. They have a lot of red bone in the beginning, and then they outcross to, it's nothing in particular. You have red ticks. I mean, they have a little bit of everything in them. You got, some yellow cur dogs in there somewhere because some of them still come up yellow. But for the most part, it's just, it's just a bunch of scatterbred mutts. My brother was actually going down the road one day in the hunting club, and he seen an old red blackmouth dog walking down the side of the road. And he passed him up, and, you just get that feeling. You're like, man, he was kind of skin and bones, been out there for a while, no collar on him. We stopped and picks him up and throws him in the back of the truck, heads on to the camp. They're down there bullshitting at the camp working on something, and they heard a dog baying. Well, they had an old bay pen. This is years ago. I mean, this is probably 20 years ago or more. And he's like, man, you got a dog bait over there? He's like, well, I don't have a dog. And he went, oh, shit, let's go see what it is. Well, the dog that he had picked up could barely walk, wore out, been in the woods for God knows how long, and it was over in that hog pen baying. Well, he brought him home, put him on a chain, took care of him. Months go by, he starts looking good, so he brings him out there with his dogs. He's been a seasoned hog hunter for a while. And he said that first hunt, he turned one of his best dogs loose, and he struck in front of this dog, but the dog was there when they bayed. The second time they brought him, he said that dog blew that other dog out of the water and went in there and bayed. Well, he hunts him for a while, and then he started breeding to him just to see what would happen, I guess, and the rest is history. That dog was a producer, and pretty much everything that I've got and everything my brother's got goes back to that rowdy dog.
I like that. I do. So, was there any, be honest, did you partake in, telling him, hey, we should breed this dog? I think he's going to be a producer, or were you like...
Oh, no, sir. So I wasn't even around at that point. So, give you a little bit of my background. So my family always had game chickens. They had the game-bred bulldogs and all that growing up. So I always had a bulldog around the yard. Well, my grandpa got me a little yellow blackmouth gyp when I was young. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And she was just a yard dog, but we'd go to the creek and go fishing or whatever. Well, she'd end up baiting. We'd go out there and we'd catch the hog behind her. And then I just kind of kept her at the house. She was my little buddy or whatever. And if somebody would have a hog get out of the pen, they'd call me. I'd bring her over there. And she was kind of rough, so she'd catch them. Or, we'd put them back in the pen or whatever. Well, years go by, and I was a bulldog guy. I always had bulldogs. My old yellow dog, she got old and died. And I got out of it for a while. Well, I married my wife. Let's see, November the 22nd, we'll be together for 8 years. And her brother-in-law hunted. Well, I had always went with people. I was a catch dog guy. So I would go with people that had good dogs, and I just bring my bulldogs and catch the hog or whatever. And that goes on, started working in the plants. Kind of got out of it. Always had a bulldog hanging around. Well, I got with my wife and her brother-in-law. When you think of hog hunting, this guy ought to be in the damn dictionary, because all he does, he lives, breathes, sleeps. Every minute of his life, he's thinking about hog hunting. Well, I went hunting with him one day, and we go in there and we caught a few hogs or whatever. I said, man, I got to get some dogs. Well, everybody knows Facebook is not the place to go. Well, I was trying to get started, so I was looking around, and I'm like, I'm looking for some hog dogs, whatever. I get on Facebook, and everybody's got dogs, obviously. I said, well, I don't want to just get screwed, because I've seen all the posts about people, peddlers and all that. So I started going to all these world-renowned breeders, all these different bloodlines. I'm not even going to mention them on here. But I tried several lines of dogs, and they just weren't working out. Well, you won't believe this, but I bought a black and tan Jip from a guy, and she showed a little bit of hunt, and I was like, well, it's the best dog I've had so far. Everything else is pretty much just junk. And she was doing okay, but she wasn't like no ball of fire or nothing. When my brother's like, you know what? Why don't we just breed my old cowboy Jip to her?
And that's that red dog, right?
No. He'd been dead and gone for years. It was a puppy out of him.
Oh, okay.
And, goes back to him, whatever. I'd have to get with him on the actual pedigree. But we bred that cowboy dog to her. And from that point on, I was hooked. These puppies, we let them run around the yard as much as we could. But, by 6 months old, these dogs were showing a lot of drive. They'd show up at bays. They would leave on their own. He predominantly track hunts. So he would ride around the club and find a big track, and we turn them puppies loose. Well, hell, they trail it up or try to, and they're just showing a lot of initiative. We go in there and, bay time to time, or they would at least hunt and strike something. Now, at 5 months old, I know there's a lot of people in a lot of these states that run deer dogs, and, you got to have a good bloodline to run deer dogs. But these dogs are finished deer dogs at 5 months old. You have to break them off deer to get them on hogs. Yeah. So the rest is kind of history from there. My oldest dog right now on the yard, he'll be coming up on, I want to say he'll be 8 years old this coming year. But I've got a lot of those dogs that we bred up out of his cowboy dog and my old Jip. And everything else is kind of bred back, uncle to the niece and, daddy to daughter kind of stuff. But it's the same old bloodline that goes back to that red dog you found on the side of the road that ended up being a phenomenal dog. And then just breeding good dogs to good dogs,
Yeah.
He's more of a hound guy. I'm honestly a cur guy. I just ain't never had one worth a damn.
At least you're honest. I mean, shit.
Yeah,
I'm a Catahoula. Believe it or not, everybody, plot guy. I mean, you know me well enough, Michael, but everybody, plot guy. Yeah, I've always said I'd have a plot on my yard, but with that being said, a lot of people don't know this about me, but Catahoula is what I really wish I could have that was worth a damn, but trust me, I'm still trying them. People don't know that. I am trying. They won't even range out with my plots. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. You ready for that one?
No, you ain't got to tell me nothing. So I went through, I'm not, if we're going to be honest, since we're being honest right now.
Let's be honest.
I probably went through 30 dogs before I ever had one that would even go to a bay. I mean, they would range out and hunt, but they never showed up with nothing. And then, I've had them, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you get a dog in their bay, you got a puppy, you're trying to get started, I'm not talking about a baby. I'm talking about, 8 months to a year old, and they're not showing the drive.
Yeah.
It's just, it just gets disheartening. And then you get a cur dog, you get a good strike dog, go in there and find a hog, and then it gets in there and gets rough, breaks the bay, or, quits, comes out, whatever. You do that a couple times, you're like, man, I don't know. So then, like I said, I was trying all these big bloodlines that everybody had a lot of time with. And before the podcast, we talked about culling.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that you can cull early, but to me, and this is just my opinion, everybody has their own. At 6 months old, I'm not saying the dog should go and find a hog and bay it and stick a race out, but at 6 months old, they ought to at least show some kind of initiative, some kind of drive to want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you get a lot of cur dogs. A lot of them are late starters. Some people have different bloodlines that are probably, start earlier or whatever. But they got to at least show me some kind of initiative. Get in trouble, chase a cat, try to go after chickens, do something. But, all that hanging out and just kind of sitting under your feet, that just don't go for me. But a lot of that goes back to, too, my brother's dogs were always early starters, and they always did something. They were always getting in trouble. They're always trying to go after game. They're always trying, just showing their potential at a younger age. So to me, culling's a little bit different. I'm not saying, get rid of like a hard cull on a young dog, but if that dog's not showing no drive and no initiative at all, it's not going to stick around me very long.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, and I think a lot of people do get a misunderstanding by the way a lot of other individuals said, 2 years or a year and a half. I can't put, I'm not putting words in people's mouth or trying to speak for them, but I can guarantee that they probably ain't keeping a dog around that's, 6 months and ain't showing no interest. You know what I'm saying? I believe is in, they're giving it a chance, it's showing interest, and it's actually producing some stuff by 2 years old. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If it's not actually producing by 2 years old, then it's a cull. Even if it's still showing interest, but it's just not showing the right amount of interest, I guess, if that makes any sense.
If at a year old, if it's not going with the older dogs or at least doing something, I'm a family man. I've got 3 kids and a wife. Everybody has their work life, and you got to balance the hunting with the work life and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to feed a dog for 2 years to see if it might make a dog.
Yeah, and I don't think they are either. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe I don't believe anybody, because I've talked to you, and you know damn well I'm not doing that. There's no way. Now, if there's some paperwork behind it, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to probably stay on my yard a little longer.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those things. It's like when you were a kid growing up, and this doesn't speak for everybody, but from personal experience, if you turn 16 years old and your parents give you a truck and say it's a nicer truck, whatever, you didn't have to work for that.
Yeah.
So you're going to take it for granted, and you're going to make mistakes. Whereas if you got an old beater and you had to work on it, and you had to put your time, blood, sweat, and tears into it, you're going to take more time, and you're going to try to make that a better truck. But if something's just handed to you and you get it, you're not going to do that. You're probably going to mess it up or make mistakes that you wouldn't have made if you actually put time into it. That's like a dog. If I go in which it's different for, different people, whatever. I was blessed to be around a lot of older guys and people that's been hog hunting all their life. And, I've got some really good blood, but I went through a lot of trials and tribulations before I got to that point. Because nobody's just going to give you their bloodline or give you a really good dog to start out with. You're going to have to work for that and show that you're going to be committed and, and put in the work and time for it. Same way with raising kids, If you're raising your kids and you're spoon feeding them and giving them everything and they're not having to work for it, they're going to take it for granted and they're not going to show any appreciation towards it. If you got to take the time and work for it, then you're going to appreciate that and you're going to want to do more to try to make that better.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you said both of those. I wanted to interrupt you so bad during them because you're covering two of the topics that I really wanted to cover, but you hit that one really good about, versus if your parents gave you this, you didn't really have to work for it versus if you had to work for it, and I had a long post about that. And this was just me thinking around the yard, like I always do, thinking about dogs and shit. And I did write it down. This was one of my own, thoughts, is exactly how you explained it. But mine was a little different. I said it's a person who hit the lottery right at 18 years old versus someone who's had to work for something their whole life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's a huge difference there. And then on top of that, you covered it, and we mentioned Facebook a little bit. And we need to get on this topic for a second. And, we do. Not necessarily Facebook itself, but a big thing that's starting to bother me that I've noticed is, hey, man, can I get a dog? I'm going to give you an example, and then we'll talk about a few of them. But
yeah, and I got a story behind or point of view on that as well. So
yeah, so man, can I get a dog? And I'm like, yeah, I got a couple pups, whatever. Well, what are they doing? And I'm like, they're pups. And they're like, oh, no, man, I'm not interested. I'm like, I don't say nothing. Hey, you got anything going? Well, I do, but how much money you got? And knowing damn well, I'm sorry, y'all. You're probably not gonna get one of them from me. Money can't even really buy anything from me on my yard. I'm not sounding like, or I'm not trying to sound like I'm made of money. I'm not. But the work I put into these dogs, I don't believe money can buy it unless I was in a real bad financial situation. Now,
well, it goes back to I don't want to interrupt you, but
no,
it goes back to Joey Wright hit it right on the head. He's been having his dogs for years, and he gets some dogs, and he's got some pups, right? So he wants to try to place those dogs in good hands. Where you give them to somebody, and then something happens, like he had an issue with, or not an issue,
I
but
heard
an
it on
instance
the
where,
podcast,
yeah. So he gives a young man, a dog that's wanting to get started,
and they want to talk shit about it.
It goes back to that appreciation deal.
Yes,
where you have to put in the work.
Yes,
you give the dog to somebody, and then the dog was barking too much, and his parents told him to get rid of it, and he drops it off on the side of the road. It's the same way. If you raise your dog, and you have this bloodline for years, and then you try to help somebody out, and then they shit on you like that, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to steer away from that. Well, the same way with when you're talking about people having dogs or wanting to buy dogs. So you have a podcast, you're in the social media world, everybody's seeing you catch these hogs, they're like, oh, I want a dog from him. Well, then Randy Durrell's got the goose dog. He's the baddest son of a bitch in the planet when it comes to baying hogs in a pen. Well, they're like, oh, I need to get a dog from him. Then you got Joey Wright. He's got his bike. Oh, I wanted to get a dog from him. Logan Campbell. You got Ryan Rankin and Carter Schultz with Boars and Brawls. Everybody's probably knocking down their inboxes wanting to get a dog from them because they see they're successful. Well, in my opinion, they're just trying to ride their coattail. Well, when you circle back around to what Joey Wright was talking about, when he was coming up, nobody would give you a dog. Hey, come over to my yard, feed and water my dogs, throw hay in the barrels, worm them, give them shots, deflea them, whatever. Put in the work to show that you're actually going to take the time and make something of it, or give the dog what it's worth, basically. Like put the time in, take care of it, and show that you're going to do everything that you need to do before you even get to the point of going hunting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody wants to look at Facebook and say, oh, well, Alan Adams got good dogs. I'm going to go get a dog from him. I want to be a hog hunter. Well, knowing damn well they probably haven't even done it or whatever, and I'm not knocking any new guys that want to come up because we want to grow the sport, but at the same time, if you're not going to put in the work and effort to make that a successful event, then why even do it? And there's what a lot of people want to do. They're fair weather hog hunters, just want to say, oh, well, this is just my new hobby at this time. They jump straight in, and they have the good intentions, but at the end of the day, can you really do it? What is your life like? What's your family like? Do you have a wife and kids? Do is your job going to allow you to go put the time and effort into the dog to make it a dog? Or are you just going to get off one weekend and go out there and try to go catch a hog with a dog that don't know shit, but come out of a good bloodline and then give the breeder a good name or a bad name,
Thank you, Mike. You hit them all.
Yeah.
I was trying to jump in. I know we get fired up when we talk to each other. I know we bitch about this shit all the time, but like I'm telling people, man, like you said, it gives breeders bad name. Mr. Joey told another story. That's what I was going to tell you as well. I can't remember. It was gosh damn. I can't remember exactly what episode, and I know everybody's going to jump my ass about that. How don't you know which one? But in one of the episodes, he talks about him getting rid of a dog, and this dog, he gave it to somebody or whatever, but it wasn't producing, or maybe it was a buddy. It might have been a buddy. I think it was a buddy that got rid of a dog, and it wasn't producing the way I guess it was supposed to. So he started running his name down. But the way I understood it is the gentleman put in a lot of time. And if you're going to be that guy, I'm not going to get too into detail with that. We'll kind of cover it on this. I'm not trying to piggyback off of everything that's going on Dixie Doggers podcast as well. They're friends of mine. We talk regularly. But what I'm trying to cover is don't be that guy that goes out and asks somebody like one of us or even Mr. Michael or Mike Cawley or any of us and, hey, man, I want a dog from you. And then you go out and you're not putting in shit for that dog. And then you run to social media and you're like, man, this dog's shit. It ain't doing this. It ain't doing that. Well, sometimes we can read true colors based off of where you got the dog from. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you get a dog from somebody and you're hunting a certain area, or you get a dog from a specific thing and it ain't doing it, I can guarantee I know why it's not doing it, because you probably bought a dog that's purposes something else versus the other. Let's be honest, and I'm going to fire everybody up.
Well, it's not only that, it's about how you raise the dog too, though.
Yeah, but bay pen bred dogs versus bay pen versus woods dogs. Do I believe they could all make it in the woods? Yeah, any dog can pretty much do whatever it wants. But if you're wanting to go and get you a woods dog that's going to range out 2 miles, I don't necessarily recommend going and looking at a 4-generation bay pen bred stock. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong there. You can correct me on that, but what I'm saying is I don't want you to give that person a bad name. It's going to sound shitty from my end saying that because everybody, there you go, comparing the bay pen to the woods world, but it's truth. You're going to get a dog from this guy, and it's not going to do what you want, and you're going to talk shit on it all day long. I'm not taking one of my plot hounds to the bay pen. I know that's not going to work. They're going to sit back 20 foot and give me one good ball every, they're going to do it every breath, but they're going to look out. They're going to be running around. They're going to put their nose to the ground. That's not what they're meant. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there, I got a plot hound that does this. Okay, well, I want to make that very clear. I'm not trying to be a shitty person by comparing and talking shit on the bay pen world because I know how pissed they get. They will throw the biggest fit in the world if you say a bay pen dog won't make it in the woods. But I want to be very clear. What I'm interpreting by that is you're going to run a bay pen person's name down quick as hell because you had different intentions. Now, if you're trying to go get you a badass bay pen dog, then go reach out to them guys. Majority of the times when like I just said, if you go to get them woods dogs, they're probably not going to be no competing level in the bay pen world. I'm just being honest.
There's very few that can do it. I mean, if you look at that 12 dog that Carter's got, he can do it. There's a handful. And so back in the day, when Jake had the bay pen down here in Village Mills before he started doing Uncle Rolls and all that, he might have been doing it at that time. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but back then, in my neck of the woods, all these rednecks out here, they would bring their woods dogs and they would bring them down to the bay pen. But they use them for dual purpose. Every week, out in the off season or when there's no baying, those dogs are in the woods. When they had a baying, they put them in the pen, and that's just how it was. Nowadays, predominantly, a lot of people that do the bay pens, they'll have their pro dogs and then they'll have woods dogs on the side, but they don't really mix and match it too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you bring a thoroughbred racehorse as a pack mule?
Exactly. And I don't know why.
They have their own purpose.
I don't know why. You know how many people have been pissed off at me about it. I do not understand why people get so sensitive when you sit there and you tell them. Just be honest about it. I am in the lab world. That's why when I was saying it, man, I offended a lot of people. They're like, oh, you don't say a bay pen dog can't make it in the woods. But I'm like, whoa, I wasn't trying to be offensive. That's me being ignorant again, and legitimately.
I'll tell you what, you go down there to Uncle Earl's, and you show me the dogs that are winning that are in the woods. And not saying they can't do it, but they're not. I mean, if you had $1 million dog, why the hell would you put it in the woods?
That's what
and
I'm
get it cut
saying.
up? They're getting that thick brush. They can't get away. Something happens. You lose your dog. Well, guess what? This son of a bitch is winning $80,000 every time you take him to a bay, and why would you put him through that?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
That son of a bitch would be on my couch eating steak and shrimp every night.
Yeah, that dog ain't staying outside for sure. There's nothing against him, but what I'm trying to get at, so everybody has an understanding, is coming from the lab world. We had the difference. People, they did dual purpose, same situation, but it was very rare. If you got a Grand Hunt Retriever champion and a SRS champion and multiple different titles, you don't really want to go out there and start messing it up in the real world, with multiple ducks getting shot over them. I mean, whatever the case may be. You want to keep what they're doing for you at a I don't even know how I'm trying to say it, but you want to make sure that they're doing the best job they can do in what you're training them to do. If you
it's all repetitive movement. So, like, if you have a bay pen dog, that's a different environment. Well, if you take them to the woods and put them in the pen, in my opinion, it would confuse them. Because in the pen, the hog's there, they're looking at it. When they go to the woods, they're looking for the hog. So if you have a dog that's in the pen predominantly, and you bring them to the woods, they're going to run out there and they're going to come back like, where the hell is he at?
Yep.
And vice versa. Or in the woods, they're going to be a little bit looser. When the bay pen, you want them to bay tight. Yep. So if you have a dog that's going to bay tight in the woods, he's probably not going to last that long unless you have a dog like 12, shit like that. There's certain instances where dogs know how to apply pressure, and there's anomalies. But what I'm getting at is there's not a list of people that can, and correct me if I'm wrong, and this is a podcast so people can comment on it. If you got a dog that's doing it in the woods and the pen and placing it in the pro, that's winning in the pro class in the pen and baying hogs in the woods, I want to see them because there's only one that I know of.
Yeah, it's 12. That's the only one I've heard of it. I think. No, yeah, 12 is the only one that I've personally heard of, and I know we're.
And I know there's probably more, but I'm just saying, like, it's not a big thing.
But I want to see it. I don't want to see a picture of your Garmin with another dog's name on it. I mean, I can grab my Garmin and go put freaking 12 on it and say, I took Carter's dog for the day, and it's in the woods. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that shit. I want to see a video. And, everybody gets so butthurt about that. The video stuff and scales. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you how many people I've hunted with personally, and you might have the same experiences, and I'm not talking shit. I'm just trying to help future people. Don't make this mistake because you're just going to draw attention and people are going to talk shit. When I first got into it, Alan, there's no way you're catching hogs that big. You ain't got a scale. That's the shit I got, right? So what did I do? I go and buy a scale. I start weighing these hogs. I start putting statistics out there on these hogs. My wife keeps a fucking calendar on top of a phone calendar, on top of all the messages I send her with statistics of each dog, plus the weight of the hog, the teeth length, how long they ran it, the average mile per hour while struck. I swear to y'all, we keep every one of these statistics every single hunt. It's really not that hard, by the way. You just reset your Garmin, and then you weigh a hog. So when I say that, that shit gets people in a bind. Sorry, I'm getting off track a little bit, but don't be going out there saying you're catching I done caught me a 330 pounder, and your buddy rolls up and it's 150. I mean, I had that happen to me about 4 times when I hunted in another state. I'm not even going to mention the state because the guy was very welcoming. It was a great time. And don't even say Oklahoma because it's not. And, they'd be like, well, this hog's this size. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I'm sorry, y'all. It's really not that big. And, oh, yeah, it is. I said, all right, well, I got that. Why you always got to pull that scale out? I'm like, because let's start being honest about it. I'm telling you, Michael, everybody hates honesty. I'm sure when people are listening to this, they are pissed off because they're like, shit, I got to be honest with them. And they're mad at themselves because they're just not honest about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So, and a lot of it's newcomers, too, because you got a shitload of people. And I'll go ahead and put this out there. And it's nothing against Jake or nothing like that, but like all the people that I hang around, we all predominantly woods hunt. And they're like, well, since the bay pens, everybody wants to be a hog hunter. You got all these new people that are coming around and trying to, make hog dogs or whatever. Well, down here, it's kind of true in a sense, but usually they don't stick around. They go out there and they either get a dog cut or they get in a bad situation, and either they're too scared to catch the hog or they get hurt. And next thing you know, all their dogs are for sale.
Yeah.
And shit happens. But, man, I don't know. It's, to each their own. If you're happy, I'm happy for you. If you want to hog hunt, great. If you want to put them in a bay pen, that's cool too. But I don't have the time to try to compete and try to keep up with it because I'm always in the woods. If I'm not hog hunting, I'm out there scouting. I'm out there, feeding them up, looking, seeing what's coming, trying to, manage the herd, if you will. Try to keep the good-blooded hogs in the woods. Try to keep something for the puppies that are up and coming to, be able to get them trained up, because a lot of the problems we had down here, there's not a whole lot of hogs because there's so many hog hunters. So, and trying to get in a club, I know you in the last podcast you were talking about people starting out. What do you do if you want to start out? Well, first of all, find somebody that is a hog hunter and go with them and learn. Second of all, get a place to go hunt. Well, down here, all these clubs, there's clubs in our area they'll ask you, do you run dogs? Oh, well, we only allow X amount of hog hunters in this club. Because, if you dog it every weekend, there's not going to be any hogs left in the club.
99% of the time, that's bullshit. It's because the president runs hog dogs. And we all know that down here.
Sometimes, but, we got some clubs that are managed pretty good. And it is a fact. So I'm in 4 leases myself. And I do not run the same lease every weekend. So if we're going one weekend, we might hit one club the whole weekend if we have a lot of luck, whatever. But we'll hit one club one weekend, one club the next weekend. Well, then my brother's in 2 clubs, my nephew's in 2 clubs. We got all these different people that hunt in different areas. and we spread it out to kind of keep the pressure off of them, if you will. And a lot of it nowadays is, to me, I'm not going to say I have a finished dog because the dog ain't finished till it's in the ground. But I've got some dogs that can do it just about every time. But then I've also got my puppies. To me, I would rather run a puppy than I would a dog that knows what it's doing. There's nothing like breeding a dog, raising it up, bringing it to the woods, and you hear that son of a bitch ball and locate for the first time and then bay. That right there is better than sex, in my opinion. You're like, all right, here we go. You know, I mean, it's just a satisfaction you get out of it. If your goal is to go and catch hogs every time, then hog hunting is probably not for you.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to happen. I mean, there's some cases you get in areas that's got a lot of hogs, some management areas, like in the marsh, stuff like that. You could probably do it. But down here, we're in the piney woods, you know, cutovers, thickets. You got dogs swimming across the river chasing hogs. I mean, it's not something that you do just, oh, this is an easy hobby. I'm just going to go do this real quick and go home. There's a lot of late nights, watching the sun come up, sitting there waiting. Okay, your dog's on somebody else's property. It swam across the river into another club. You know, who's over the club? Try to do the right thing so you don't make a bad name for yourself, obviously. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's just not a lot of people out there that are built for that. People want to do it, but I've had people come from other areas and come down here, and they're like, man, this is completely different.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, like, call your dogs back. I don't call my dogs back. If they're on a hog, I'm letting them finish it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, that's, and if you want to, we can get into training puppies if you want to. That's a really good topic.
Yeah, we'll get on that one next. I still want to cover the lease stuff, you know, and I meant, by the way, this is one of the other notes that I do have down for, because I had a lot of new people ask me about that. Now, y'all, I'm gonna share a bad experience that happened with me here very recent. There was a lease that was posted. They said they allow hog doggers. So I reached out. This is freaking hilarious. I reached out to him. I said, hey, you know, I'm interested in joining. I'll pay whatever the fee is, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to donate my deer spots to a youth that's on the property. He can have all my deer spots because I can just go to Kansas and shoot a doe bigger than majority of the bucks down here. Once again, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm just telling y'all it's the truth. So I told him, I said, hey, y'all, let me in the club. I'm going to donate him once again. Well, he just opened my message, didn't respond. So the number was posted. I called the number, and his wife answered. I said, hey, ma'am, this is Alan Adams. I'm interested in joining the club. And she said, yeah, my husband said you can't. And I'm like, what? I said, I'm donating my deer spots. And she said, yeah, no, they said you hunt too much. And I said, I hunt too much? And she said, yes, sir. You run dogs too many days, and we're not wanting that here. I'm like, oh, man. So, yeah, even if there is a club available, and that was, a lot of that's my fault, because I wanted to make a name for myself. I want to prove that I'm staying into this. Trust me, I know, I get it all the time. But, you know, maybe being quiet sometimes will help y'all get on some land, because that's a really good lease. And the funniest part ever is my buddy that hunts probably 1 or 2 days more than me. Yeah, they let him on it, just to let y'all know. So that shows you that he hunts 5 to 6 days a week. I'm 3.5 to 4 days a week. So yeah, that just shows you that maybe being quiet every once in a while will help you get on the land. Now, lease wise, can you potentially give them I guess some advice? I get a lot of people that, hey, what should I look for on a lease? We've covered multiple times, you know, get a lease, get something. Cover what you need to be looking for on the lease, and talking to the maybe the president, or you got to be careful. Are
you talking about like a first-time hog hunter or somebody that's been doing it for a while for a lease? Yes,
because let me give you an example from me. Being a newcomer, I made the mistake. I got on a lease in Louisiana. Guys, this is me. This is me personally that made this mistake. I got on a lease in Louisiana. They said it was like 6,800 acres. Well, that 6,800 acres is split up into a lot of 1,000-acre blocks. A lot. And I made the mistake of there was really not any hogs. I never went and scouted it. I never went and looked with the guy. None of that. So can you kind of touch base on that, Michael? Hello? Hello?
I'm here. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Oh, can you touch base on...
My wife and kids just got home.
Oh, no. I understand. Can you touch base kind of on those leases, getting onto a lease, what you really need to look for before you join one, stuff like that?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion, if you're going to, as a newcomer, if you're going to start hog hunting, yes, you do need a leash. You need somewhere to go turn your dogs loose. But the first thing you need to do is find somebody a seasoned hog hunter that's going to kind of more or less take you under their wing. Because, obviously starting out, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. It could turn into a shit show real quick. You can either get your dogs hurt or yourself hurt. So you want to get somebody that can kind of help you out, kind of show you the ropes and whatever. Now, if you've already done that and you're looking for a lease, it all goes back to what kind of dogs you're going to run. And as a newcomer, you're probably not going to know. You have short-range dogs, long-range dogs, rough dogs, loose dogs. So, you're really looking for a disaster if you don't have somebody to show you. If you have a lease that's smaller, if you have like 1,000 acres, you're probably going to want a closer range dog, maybe even a little bit rougher dog. Starting out, that may not be a good idea, but, you're not going to have a lot of real estate to run on. Like my dogs, they tend to go a little bit further than they need to sometimes. So I'm not going to be able to run them on 1,000 acres. If I do, I'd have to have, permission to go on the other properties. But I would even say look for a lease. I would say look for somebody that can show you the ropes and, kind of somebody to learn from. Go with somebody with dogs. Don't even get your own dogs yet. Go with somebody that knows what they're doing. Fill them out. Learn. Ask questions. Do the work. Offer to help. Offer gas. Offer whatever. Just, let them know you're serious about it and then go from there. Other than that, if you're just looking for a lease, it's all about geographical location. So, if you are just going to jump right head on into it, because I know like you did, and I pretty much did too, but I had somebody to hunt with the whole time. But if you're not, if you're going somewhere where there's water, make sure you have a boat. Don't get caught and your dogs go across the river, you don't have a boat. Guess what? You're standing there waiting, trying to figure out what we're going to do. Does my buddy have a boat? Whatever.
You better be swimming. I don't give a shit.
Yes.
You want a dog, you better fucking be with that dog.
Yes.
I shared that the other day. An old boy posted. He said, "Man, I got some shoats for sale. Bring a rope." And I said, "If you ain't willing to get in there with them 340-pound shoats, you have no business running a hog dog or even trying to train one because you ain't got the balls to get in there when it's a 300-pound boar hog."
Right. Well, that's something else that comes down to it too. Is grit. So if you think you want to run dogs. If you've never seen a hog in a trap, let me say you catch a good boar hog in a trap. When you walk up there, that son of a bitch is whooping the side of that pen. He's got blood all over him. He's trying to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if you're not willing to put yourself in front of that dog and be there and do what you got to do, then it's probably not the sport for you. Let's be honest. It's kind of a rougher sport, And, I've been with people that been hunting for years, and you go out there and, you get in a situation, and you look around, and you're like, where the hell did they go?
Yep.
Oh, shit, I'm by myself. Well, you still got to do it, I would say you need to be in shape. And going back to the lease thing, just, for one, make sure, if you get on a smaller lease, make sure the leases around it are cool with it, or at least give you basically like the right to retrieve. I know in Texas you're supposed to have the right to retrieve, but there's a lot of people that can be assholes about it. Know where you're at, know the landscape. Don't just go out there and join a lease and just turn your dogs loose. You want to go out there and ride the lease, check out the access roads, look at where you can go. You want to know where you can get around and how you can get to your dogs if they do go the distance, I mean, there's so much to cover on that. It's really hard to give you a good description of it. But my best advice is find somebody that hog hunts that knows what they're doing and go with them and learn from them.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing. And make sure, look, guys, something we haven't covered at all is when you're going to purchase dogs. Okay, we've shut down Facebook a lot. Everybody's like, man, don't buy them on Facebook. We've preached that a lot. Now, sitting here thinking about a lot of this stuff, I wish, and I'm sure Mr. Michael can vouch for this one, or maybe not. I jumped into it pretty hard. I just want to give you all a reference. When I ended up doing the math the other day, because we said we spent over $8,000 on dogs. It's way more than that, by the way. I ended up the weekend at Earl's. I bought 3 dogs at Earl's, and I bought a lot of other shit. And Earl's is a great place, man. It's freaking awesome. But once again, I didn't have the right. I should have listened to more people around me, but I necessarily didn't. I was just like, maybe I want to get into the bay pen. Maybe I don't. I'm going to get a bay pen dog, make it run in the woods too. I was just on the fence. So I'm just saying have somebody else maybe help you out with that. Because I ended up spending a little over $3,000 at Earl's. So that was probably on the cheaper side. I'm sure a lot more people have spent more money than that. And just to let y'all know, none of them dogs work.
No, you're crazy as hell. I don't think anybody spent that much money on dogs starting out.
Well, I mean,
somebody maybe, but that just goes to show. And I'm going to kind of toot your horn a little bit. I know a lot of people give you shit because you're new into it, but I'm kind of that extremist as well, and my wife can vouch for that. If I start something, I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to go in. I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to do whatever it takes to try to be successful. Do my research. And spend the money. If you're serious about it, you're going to spend the money. If you're looking at it, you're like, I don't know about that. Well, you're probably not that serious about it. You may be interested, but you're not serious. But you coming up, starting out, you spent the money, you spent the time, you made a lot of mistakes, but you didn't quit. And that goes back to the grit. If you're going to be a hog hunter, you got to be gritty. You can't be one of those people like, oh, my dog got cut, I quit. Well, guess what? Shit happens, and let's just, get down to the nut cutting of it. It's not all sunshine and rainbows when you're hog hunting. It's a rougher person sport. It's not something that you just get into and everything's easy. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have ups and downs. Shit's going to happen. But for you to stay in it and be as successful as you are at a as little time that you've been in it, why you're so successful? You put in the fucking work. That's just all it boils down to. That's everything in life. You get out of it what you put into it. If you're going to half-ass it and just try to, do as least as possible, you're probably not going to be very successful, and you're going to be hating on people like you that has put in the time and effort and actually made yourself successful in that. So, like you said, it took you 8 months to catch a hog. You know how many people would have quit about the third hunt?
No, yeah, not even that. Trust me, I've already been through them guys. Shit. They're like, man, hey, I want to hunt with you. I'm like, all right, come on. And, they'll catch hogs with me, and they're like, all right, let me bring my dogs. I'm like, well, I've made the rule. If any of y'all come hunt with me, my dogs will not be dropped with yours. I know as bad as you want.
That is smart, dude. It's like,
it ain't happening. And I'm telling you, they're like, fuck these dogs. Fuck them. Man, look, we've cussed enough on this podcast.
Training dogs is just like raising kids. So if I don't know your kids and I don't know how you are, I'm not going to let my kids hang out with you because I don't want them to be influenced by something that's going to, hurt them, or they could kind of hold them back, or, that's not going to help them thrive. So why would I take a dog that I know is doing good and take it with a dog of yours that's going to confuse the hell out of it? Or if I know I got a dog broke off deer, why would I run it with your dog that's going to jump a deer if it doesn't get on some hog sign real quick? It's the same concept, dude. Yeah. It's smart. You're like, okay. And I do that, and everybody I hunt with does that. Like, if I got a new dog, they're like, hey, it's not even a conversation. We already know. Like, hey, let's hunt these older dogs, catch a hog or two. Hey, let's let these puppies work.
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey, let me drop this seasoned dog with this puppy. In some cases, if it's your dog, you want to do it, try to boost them, great. But if I go with you and I have a puppy, I'm not going to put my puppy on the ground. Case in point, I was on one of those veteran hunts, and a guy brought some puppies, and he's a really good friend of mine. Well, he just brought them younger pups and sent them with them other dogs, thinking they were going to go with them. Well, they didn't. They went out to the road and started barking and running up and down the road. Well, I had some older dogs, and there wasn't any sign. Well, my older dogs run out to the road, seeing what all the damn ruckus is about. I'm pissed off. I go out there to catch my dogs. And I'm like, what, what's going on? I thought they had a hog bay. They're over there baying puppies. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So, shit happens, and it's the same way, with your kids. If you're going to send your kids somewhere and you got a bunch of hoodlums running around, which, I got some damn hoodlums myself, but, just basically saying you don't want to influence them in any way that's going to hold them back. Yeah. Because with a dog, to me, it's all about repetitive movements. It's about repetitive actions. Okay. If you take a dog and you go out there and you just freak, and people, and I'll get a lot of hate for this, and I don't really give a shit. Everybody's like, I want a cast dog. I want a dog that's going to cast. That dog better know what the fuck he's casting for. Because I'm telling you right now, the dogs I got, if you bring them out there and there's no sign, or there's some old sign, and there's a deer laying between you and that road over there, when they run through there, they may give you about 30 minutes of honest work, and then they're going to say, hey, I'm bored. Look at this fucking deer, and they're going to run that deer out of the country. So if you're going to cast a dog, in my opinion, you want to have that dog somewhat seasoned as far as knowing that there's a hog out there and going after a hog, not just send them up through there. Because mine, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but mine are going to run whatever game they see. It might be a possum. It might be an armadillo. It might be a fucking raccoon. It might be the neighbor's pussycat. But if you go to casting dogs before they're actually trained, in my opinion, you're just asking for trouble.
Man, you're... I got a funny story for you real quick. My Kate dog, one of my plot crosses, she, this fucking bitch, we had a hog, a good one, and we come off, we're walking back, and I'm like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? She starts opening up, and it's not a fucking baying open up. She's just like, boom, boom. I'm like,
something over here, Daddy, come get it.
Oh, fuck yeah. My wife and I, we jump in the boat, we fucking haul ass up to her because the other dogs ain't acknowledging it. I was like, there's no way. I was getting pissed at my other dogs. Motherfucker, we pull up there. What was it? Was it an armadillo or a possum?
I don't even remember.
It was one or the other. It was in a hole. Like, not okay, of course, not a varmint hole, but like a root ball, like a root hole or whatever the fuck they call them.
Yeah.
It was an armadillo, is what it was. And man, I wasn't even fucking mad at her though. You know what I mean? Like, she was just on she had the hog, and then we're walking back to the boat, like, she found something else. She's like, fuck it. And I wasn't even mad. I was like, God damn it.
No, and it was kind of your fault for not putting her in sign, right?
No.
So I'm not saying there's dogs that won't do it, but like my dogs as puppies, if I don't find a track and put them on the track, or if I don't, God forbid, have a camera and go out there and send them in some hog sign about 2 hours after they leave, and I just ride around and I'm getting bored, I'm drinking beer, and I'm like, hey, I just want to run these dogs, so I just kick them out, let them go, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. People will lie about it all day long, but you know how many times I've sent a bulldog to a damn possum or an armadillo when I was training puppies? And they run in there. Hell, I caught a coyote probably about 6 months ago. I had some pups. I turned them loose, and I was in a spot where there's usually some hogs, right off the river. And my little jip run in there, and she's bayed solid. I said, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I got a young bulldog. I vest her up. I walk in there. And I'm listening, and I'm like 50 yards away, and I don't hear the hog. I'm like, what the fuck is she baying? I sat there for a minute, and she was pretty convinced. She was hammering. I was like, all right. I turned my bulldog loose, and it caught a fucking little pup coyote.
Oh, shit.
If you've never had a shit show like this on your hands, try to get a bulldog off of a coyote with a dog baying it. You grab the coyote, and the dog lets go and grabs the hold again. The coyote's trying to eat you. It was a fiasco. But, it's just, you can cast dogs, and I do cast my dogs, but I cast my older dogs. The younger ones, I try to, if I know that I'm setting them up for success. But if you're just going out there and just sending dogs out in the woods, you don't know what you're going into, or you're just bored and you're just trying to let them run, you better believe if you got a dog worth the shit, they're finna get on something, and you never know what it's gonna be. And it don't bother me, because hell, they're chasing game. You just got to get their mind right and get them on what you want them to run. But as far as being successful and set them up for success, you need to make sure that you have hogs in the area or know they're there before you start just sending them up through there.
So with that being said, let's jump on to a new subject, if you don't mind. Let's talk about, and I love it, man. Houndsman XP covers it quite a bit, man. I love Houndsman XP as well. But fair chase. Let's be honest, man. How, the biggest thing is, hunting with dogs makes it so much easier. Just cover it on your thought process there, if you don't mind.
Fair chase, like what?
Okay, so let me give you an example. So this was my example that I had when I was listening to Houndsman XP, and a lot of you have multiple people that claim, leftists mainly, that running dogs on hogs or lions, anything, is a lot easier than actually going out there with a rifle or a bow. Well, for example, my wife and I, we live out in the country, and last year the family, my in-laws and her, we all decided, hey, let's go ahead and get a deer. I'm telling you, it took me 2 days. I went out in my backyard, set a feeder up, put a camera, had deer there, day 1, day 2, day 3 was opening morning. My wife and I slept. Our property wasn't done yet, but we already owned it and whatnot, but the house wasn't done. It was still being remodeled. So my wife and I slept in the car until we drove there. We slept in the car until that deer came on camera. We got out the car. It was 34 yards from the back living room window. Opened the window. She stuck the rifle out. Boom, shot it. Done. It was that simple. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've tried dropping some damn dogs and some fresh sign and ran a hog for 7 hours and never found it. So what I'm getting at is when they say fair chase, they're saying that it's not fair for dogs to run on game because it's a lot easier, if that makes sense.
If you've got good dogs, that might be the case. But like I've got,
you got 9. Shit, how the fuck you gonna say that?
I've got like 9 or 10 dogs right now, and I've got 2 old dogs that'll just about make you a hog out of sticks if there ain't one out there. They're gonna go find one. But if I turn them loose and say somebody, because I've had people, they've tried thermals, they've tried traps. Hey, come get your dogs and bring them over here and try to catch this hog. Well, I've got some older dogs that, we catch a lot of hogs with them, but if I turn them loose on a feeder, I haven't had a lot of success. Now, I've got a red dog. He's younger. He's 3 years old coming up. He knows how to apply pressure. A lot of times, if I turn him loose on a feeder, he's going to catch that hog or bay it,
Yeah.
But if I turn anything loose with him, it's a shit show and they run forever. There's just so many different scenarios, but there's nothing easy about running dogs. So if people think that, you're using dogs, it's unfair, there's some instances, some areas, some geographical locations where that may be true. But 90% of the time, you have more luck sitting on a stand shooting a deer than you would having, bringing a dog out there and trying to run one across the road and shoot it with a shotgun.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. That's a big one, man, that I really wanted to cover. I've tried talking to people about it, that are against the stuff, and I can't stand talking to them, first of all, and I hope they listen to this because I absolutely can't fucking stand them. But,
yeah, I know people like that, and that's just like the people where, your dog's running all the deer off. Well,
I can't stand.
I've bayed hogs off the river and been walking back to the four-wheeler 100 yards from the road, and a buck be laid down right there, or a doe and a fawn, and they get up and run off, and the dogs don't even fool with them. To each their own. If you have a dog that don't know what it's doing and it's just chasing game, they may go over there and bump them, but a dog that knows what a deer is and knows what its purpose is, they're supposed to be hunting hogs, a lot of times they won't even fool with them.
I can't tell you how many days a week I send my wife a text saying, I can't fucking stand deer hunting motherfuckers. Like, nothing against y'all deer hunters. I'm sorry. But gosh damn, they're the first ones to complain. I'm not complaining about them deer hunting. What I'm worried about...
Look, I'm a deer hunter. Me and my son, we got 2 yesterday, and that doesn't ever happen. But, to me... It's
if you
easier
see
to sit
a
on
dog,
a stand and kill a deer than it is to go catch a hog with a dog,
Yes, but if you see a dog, this is what I'm getting at, is how deer hunters are. I don't mind a deer hunter at all if he just leave my dogs alone. Like, oh shit, all right, dogs just ran through. Whoop-de-doo, leave them alone. I'm going to continue to hunt. But it's not that, because I do have a leash that I'm allowed to run dogs on all year round, but I am very respectful about it. I do not, if I pull up to the leash and there's a vehicle there, or there's any sign of any hunter being in that leash, I don't go and run dogs. I do not.
No.
But
just being respectful.
The only reason I was granted that is because last year everybody shot their target deer on that leash, and I am the only one that's allowed to run dogs on it. But I'm not, at the same time, it kind of pisses me off when I run into a fucking deer hunter that launched from a whole different boat launch, and my dog's been running the whole leash. You know what I mean? Because I know he's going to come out and start complaining to the president and everything like that. The president of the club. I'm not talking about Donald Trump.
Well, let me give you this scenario. So, yesterday, I'm sitting on a stand in the morning, and we're just chilling, looking to see what's coming out. My son's on the stand on the high line. I'm in the briar patch, and I hear a hound. And this son of a bitch is running the hide off of one, just bawling and running, because there's like a neighboring property up against the club, and there's some private land. Well, he's got a hound. Well, this dog just runs free. Well, it's running the piss out of something. It runs straight in front of my stand, comes through. It was a blue tick for all you blue tick guys. And it's just hammering going through there. And I was like, well, shit. That son of a bitch sounds good. I was like, well, I probably won't see nothing whatever. I had those come to the feeder with the dog running. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, that scenario went out the window. Because, I'm a hog hunter, and I run dogs. That's my thing. I deer hunt just because I need something to do in the off-season, whatever. But that dog was running, and I text my son. He's like, I got a little doe at the feeder right now. And that dog was running back and forth across the high line. just chasing. And I'm like, well, I was like, he must not be a very good one. I don't know what the hell he's running, but you still see deer. Now, if they get on the deer's ass and run it, yeah, it's going to run a little ways, but it's going to come right back to where it come from. It's going to go back home,
Yeah, and you'll notice that on a Garmin. Hey, you know what? While we're right there, maybe help some people looking at a Garmin and tell. The biggest thing I can't stand is hunting with new people or people that are very experienced. Y'all very experienced ones, man. I'm 2 years in, y'all. I can't. You got me fired up talking about it, Michael. If you can't read a Garmin, you don't have that connection with your dog, and you do not know what your dog's doing. So don't try to sit there and throw experience at somebody if you're looking at a Garmin and you do not know what your dog is doing. Now, can you kind of give some newcomers, including myself? Shit, I'm willing to learn. Even though,
look, dude, I've been predominantly hog hunting and running dogs for the last all my life, but 8 years consistently, and I'm learning every day. Nobody has it figured out. If you talk to Mike Colley or, any of the reputable breeders, they're going to tell you, if you don't learn something every time you run your dogs, then you're not really engaged. You're going to learn something new every time. And as you breed them, they're going to progress and they're going to do different things. You're going to watch and see what they're doing.
But
as far as watching the Garmin, that goes back to being dedicated and knowing your dogs. Me and my brother, we'll have 3 dogs on the ground, and when they bark, we know which dog barked.
Oh yeah.
It goes back to applying yourself and just spending the time and putting in the work.
Yes, sir.
Because and as far as reading the Garmin, I hunt with guys that didn't have Garmins until you know, 6-7 years ago, they all use the beep beep, or some of the guys I hunt with don't even use collars. They just run their dog and they listen to their dog and they know, oh, he's about to cross this road over here on the other side of the club. It just goes back to putting in the work and actually paying attention to the dogs. And my brother, he's still teaching me every day, because he can read a dog like nobody's business. He can tell you what that dog's going to do, if it has potential or not. From about 2 hunts, he can tell you, like, hey, this is what you need to do. It's going to be a rig dog. It's going to be a track dog. It's, going to be a wind dog or whatever. And I always just kind of took it for granted. And I was just like, whatever. Well, I started paying attention to the dogs more. And guess what? The dog will teach you more. They say that you're training the dog. Really, the dog's training you.
Yeah.
Because you got to learn the dog.
Yep.
But it goes back to that, like I said, put in the work. I mean, if you're not going to be in the woods and you're not going to hunt the dog, you're not going to know what it's going to do. If you just go every, once in a while, you can make a lot of mistakes. Well, if you pay attention to that dog and you hunt that dog, then you'll learn it, and then you'll know, oh, that's old Sam that's out there barking. That's Hank that's out there barking, whatever. And you'll kind of catch up to those things. Starting out, it's going to take a little while, unless, how many times, if you're sitting in the house, I know you can do it because you've been doing it for long enough and you got enough dogs. You can sit in the house and hear which dog's barking out there.
Oh,
that
yeah.
son of a bitch won't shut up. I know it's that Sally dog, like, God almighty. And you just kind of learn the dogs and just kind of let them do their thing, give them the opportunity. Uncle Pat said it best when he was talking about, the best way to train a dog is get the hell out of the way. Just let the dog do its thing and, put them in a position where they're set up for success. And, it all comes with experience. You can't really just tell somebody that's starting out what to do. They're going to have to make their own mistakes and learn from it and hopefully get better.
I don't believe, for all listeners, I don't even believe this podcast will help you. Or I don't. I'm just trying to point y'all in the right direction on stuff to look for. The way I believe it and the way I say it is your dog is going to teach you way more than any single human will ever teach you.
Yeah.
I'm just...
How many times have you walked out down that road and you seen that hog track went put your nose in it when you found it?
Yeah, never. I mean...
and how many times have you turned your dog loose and said, I know they're over here, and the son of a bitch goes on the other side of the road and bays the hog? You're like, well...
Yeah. Well, I mean, even you just said that. People want them. A while ago, earlier in the episode, you stated, the casting ability, and you just said right there, how many times have you put your nose down and went whatever? Now, if you put your nose down in that track and went out 80 yards, but say you were smelling that track and it was hot, but you just didn't want to really strike yet. You were trying to figure out which way it went, and then you randomly got a shock because you weren't moving fast enough. You're not going to range out again. I mean, shit, you're going to try to get back to the buggy. That goes into the next topic. Ruining dogs with starting them out, training them, ruining them with Garmin's. How many times have you seen that?
So, I'm not going to say no names, but I went hunting with a guy. I actually got a dog from a guy. He was like, hey, he told a buddy of mine, he's like, hey, this dog ain't making it. I'm finna cull it. Well, I just started out, and he was like, hey, I got a guy who's got a dog. It's from a good bloodline, but it's not working out. So I go get the dog, and he was a slow learner. I put like six or 8 months into him, just taking him, with my buddies that hunt all the time. And he started actually going. And he was baying a few hogs, but he wasn't no ball of fire. He was just doing his job. He was doing what he knew how to do. He was a hot-nosed cur dog, bobtail, man, built like a brick shit house. And, I mean, when he got on one, he got on him, and he'd stop it. Well, the guy that originally had him called me one day. He said, let's go hunting. I said, all right, let's go. Well, I go and meet him and a couple other guys. We go out there, and he had a plot hound, a good-looking gyp. And, well, we show up, and there were some hogs that had just been in like a waller, so I brought that little yellow dog. He went out there and bayed. Well, the guy that had the plot that originally owned the yellow dog, he's trying to get this plot to go. Well, he was kind of heavy-handed. Well, the plot didn't really want to go. Well, he goes to lighten her up, and she peels out and runs out in the middle of the briar patch and sits down. He's like, I don't teach her to go. She'll get ahead, and all she knows is, hey, this hurts. I'm trying to get away from it. Well, she gets out there in the middle of the briar patch, and when we catch the hog and we start coming back, well, he's trying to call this dog in. Well, this damn dog don't want to come to him because he done lit her up. Well, then he goes to shocking her, trying to get her to come back, and I told him right then, I said, hey, whatever you got in that dog, I'll buy it from you right now. Because the dog had potential. I know where she come from, and I know what she would do, according to some other guys or whatever. And he wouldn't give me that dog, but he, in my opinion, he ruined that dog with that electricity. And I've seen it happen. I've seen people, and I mean, I've been guilty of it myself, abusing that shock system, and your ego gets in the way.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, well, these dogs are doing really good. My dog's not doing good, or my dog's running down the road. I'm just going to light it up. Well, at that moment, you're correcting that dog in the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And what does that dog know? It's just being a dog. Well, you're sitting there lighting it up, and all it knows is this hurts. I'm trying to get away from it. So you're not going to make a dog go, and you're not going to make a dog come back by that. I mean, I know the whole training where you can take it like a piece of mule tape on a dog about 50 foot and tell it, come here, and then bump it and make it come to you. And I mean, that does work. But as far as making a dog hunt, you're not going to do that. It's either got it or it don't. So, I mean, in my opinion, you're just wasting your time if you're trying to use that to make the dog something that it's not.
Yeah,
and that goes back to reading the dog. I mean, there's people that can read dogs, and then there's people that just try to hunt dogs. And if you're not paying attention to your dog and seeing what it's doing and giving it the setting it up for success, then really you're just hurting it. I mean, a dog is 90% what it's going to be, natural. 10% is you, and that 10% can fuck them up 99%.
Oh, yeah. Well, with that being said, I got to disagree. We're going to have a disagreement here, and we can talk about it. Now, this is going to be a good one. Now, a lot of people, and I'm glad you said it because you're the first one out of all the episodes, out of 13, 14 episodes. Now, and I'm glad you said it. You worded it. You can't make a dog. It's either got it or it don't, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that's completely false, 100%. And I'm going to tell you from experience. Now, from two ways. I had my main dog right now was mainly pretty much looked at that. Like, he ain't worth shit. He was a cold, 100%, whatever, get on. But I knew what he was bred with. I did not want him to be cold. So I worked on him. Now, same thing with the lab world. My Finley dog, she was already 2.5 or something like that when I got her. She was papered. I didn't even want her. My wife got her. Long story short, she had no experience hunting whatsoever. None. Zero. Didn't even fucking acknowledge a ball being thrown. I worked with her. I put fundamentals into that dog. Now, you can throw a bird in the middle of Beaumont and drop her in Lumberton, Texas, and I could send her on a straight line cast. I'm probably exaggerating that by quite a bit, but I'm saying 300, 400 yards, I could send her on a straight line cast. In the lab world, that means you point them and they go that way. Yeah, I know. Look it up. Yeah, I know a lot of y'all, there's no way that's possible. Yes, it's a real thing. Hand cast, I can make my dog sit on a whistle, the whole 9 yards. I got all that in this dog. That dog, over 2 years, had none of that to him. And she had no hunt desire. So when people sit there and say you can't make a dog hunt, that is complete bullshit. And in my opinion on the work that I've put in, I'm not saying you're lying, but the work that I put in, I started dragging a hog and dragging scent and whatnot on that dog. And that dog started figuring out, oh, I need to chase this. I need to do this. So I can see where people say maybe heart or grit is harder to put into a dog. But to make a dog hunt, I don't see I've seen I can't stand a Boykin Spaniel, but gosh damn, I've seen them. I can't. They're the shittiest waterfowl dogs there is. But you know what? There's grand champions out there, and you know why? because fucking people put in the work. I guarantee. I mean, I'm just saying when people say the dog's got it or not, that shit pisses me off more than anything. And I'm not mad at you. Of course, we're just having a conversation.
No, it's fine. I mean, we can agree to disagree because, like, if you take 10 dogs, I would say 9 out of the 10 are not going to make it. There are anomalies, and I mean, yeah, if you put a shitload of work into it, it may be a good dog, but it'll never be a great dog because all the great dogs I've seen have come from natural ability. Because if they want to do it for themselves, it seems to me like they always end up progressing a lot more.
Yeah, but see, that's what blows my mind because that Finley dog, she come from a champion show bloodline. Champion show. I can't tell you how many people, way worse than the hog world. Alan, that dog will never be titled. She will never title. Guess what? Not only did I do her, but I got 5 more behind her, or 6 more behind her, actually, titled. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to, like, start a huge confrontation with people regarding that, but what I want people to understand...
No, it's fine. I mean, it's a good conversation because, I mean, you know...
But what I'm getting at is
everybody thinks they're right, or everybody has their own way of doing things. Now, it may work for you, but it may not work for somebody else.
Exactly,
you know? And it's a good way to look at it because it's all about perspective. Because if somebody wants to put in the work and the time on a dog like that, they may be able to make a dog out of it. But somebody, I don't know, people are different. I'm a lot harder on dogs than a lot of people are probably. But I want a dog to do it on their own. I don't want to have to put, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't want to put that much work into it. I've just been spoiled with dogs that do it on their own to where I don't have to do that. Because I started out with a bunch of dogs that needed all that time and effort. And I had a bad experience from it because I never had anything good come out of it. Now, the dogs that have the natural ability that want to do it, they seem to be my cup of tea. Whereas, I mean, you know, you're probably more patient. You have more time. Those dogs will work for you, but they may not necessarily work for me. You know, and that's the same way with, like, bloodlines. If you get a dog, not every dog, I mean, let's be realistic here. If you're a breeder, you're not going to say, okay, I have a 95% success rate with my dogs.
Oh, no.
Now, you may have, out of a litter,
with
you have
mine,
7, or say for numbers' sake, you have 10 dogs. 2 of them are just natural, just going at it, just doing their thing. Then you have 3 that need a little bit of work. Then you have some that aren't showing any kind of potential at all until, say, they're 2 years old. As far as somebody getting into hog hunting or trying to, any kind of sport, trying to get their dogs to do that, you're not going to have a high percentage rate of people that are willing to spend that much time. So you always have your superstars, then you have your good dogs, then you have your average dogs, and then you have your coals.
Yeah.
It's all about what works for you and what you're happy with. I mean, I'm not the one buying your dog feed, so I'm not going to tell you what to do either way. If it makes you happy, then do it. And, you know, it's the same way for me and anybody else out there. You know, everybody has their own perspective, but what we all got to get to the point of is like me and you right now. We have a disagreement. You think that, you know, dogs can be trained to hunt or, you know, they have more potential, whatever, give them the time. I have a different perspective. Does that mean that we can't get along? No. Like, hey, you know, you're a good guy. I don't care. You know, I'm not feeding your dog, so if that makes you happy, then I'm happy for you. It's just not what I'm going to do. But we all have to have unity and come together and say, you know what? I disagree. I don't think that bay pen dogs can be a woods dog or vice versa. Or I like, you know, walker dogs. I like plot dogs. I like blue ticks, whatever. Well, guess what? I may not agree with it. I may not want to do it myself, but you know what? I love you. And I want you to succeed. So if that makes you happy, we're all dog men here. So we all got to get together and support each other.
Yeah. Well, let's make a little side joke real quick. How many woods hunters have you heard that got pissed off because they said you can't make it in the bay pen?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Because they're like, my dog can't do that. Yeah. Well, you know, and it's kind of a money thing too. I mean, when you go to the woods, you're like, hey, I'm with my buddies. I'm turning my dogs loose. All I got is the snacks and gas and beer or whatever. Well, when you go to the bay pen, there's money at stake. So why would you want to go put money on a dog that's doing it in the woods that may do it in the pen? when you got people that are bait pinning professionally, making a damn near a living out of it. Why would you want to go compete with that?
I know, but how many of them once you say, oh, you can't make a bait pen dog's a woods dog?
Honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot because they're over there smiling, cashing their check and counting their money. You know, like Randy Durrell, he's a good dude. I've met him. He's a stand-up guy, you know, but at the same time, I mean, he does woods hunt and he has bait pen dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, do you think that he's over there getting his feelings hurt and he's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do because Goose is not a woods dog? He's over there laughing, cashing his checks, you know? I mean...
Oh, yeah, them Facebook reactions, son, shit. Yeah. They paying him all day.
Hey, and he's got some good dogs. And when him and Pat were arguing a while back, I was picking and playing because I had a puppy from Pat at the time. And I was like, I'll tell you what, just give me one of your pups and I'll run both of them and I'll give y'all an honest review. That way, you know, we can kind of put that out there for everybody. But at the same, he didn't even respond. But at the same time, you know, it's like everybody has what, you know, a vision. Everybody has a passion. You may like running dogs. You may like plots. You may like curs, whatever. At the end of the day, if what you're feeding makes you happy,
that's all.
Then I'm happy for you, and that's all that matters. Yeah, because, I mean, how many people that are giving you bad feedback or, you know, talking shit on Facebook, are they paying your light bill? Are they buying you diapers? Are they paying for your dog food? No, fuck them. It's like, you know, whatever. I think it's all just controversy sells, and a lot of that kind of feeds into it. But at the end of the day, if your dog makes you happy, that's all that counts. I mean, I've got 9 head on the yard, and you couldn't come up here with any amount of money and get them from me. Are they good dogs? No, they're shit eaters, but they make me happy. So, you know, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, I don't care what anybody says about my dogs because I'm content with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I know we got way, way, way off topic there, but
let's.
You know, a lot of people get too caught up in it, and they it's kind of a knee jerk reaction. That son of a bitch said that my dog won't do this, my dog won't do that. Okay, are you happy with your dog? You like your dog? Yeah. Well, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
they're irrelevant. You know.
That's why you post them, man. That you do. You can fire them up. Like we just caught a little sow. Well, I mean, she was, I don't know, 110, 115 pounds, little sow. And, man, I had to make
she went at least 300. I seen the picture on Facebook.
Yeah, she fuck, man. If I would have had that scale on her, I bet she would have hit 420. But she was a good one, man. She was a little fighting bitch. I loved it. But, I was so proud of it. You know, I had people on Snap messaging me, dude, act like it's not your first hog. I'm like, well, my Slovakian Kopo was involved. That's why I'm so excited. Like,
are you talking about those damn wiener dogs you got?
Motherfucker, don't you be bagging on my fucking wieners now. Shit.
I seen them. I said, that looks like a fucking souped up wiener dog.
They got some. Shit, you know how tough a fucking wiener dog is? They use them motherfuckers on badgers.
Listen to this shit. I was at the Silsby Bank Barbershop. It's almost like its own little deal there. Like, you know, old timers, they go in there and they get their hair cut, they bullshit, whatever.
I drive by it every fucking day, by the way.
So there's a guy that cuts my hair in there, and we were sitting there bullshitting, and I was talking about my dogs, and we were talking about deer hunting and stuff. He was like, man, have you seen these fucking dogs? Like, they're little badass little dogs. And he started describing them. I was like, is that those Slovakian Kopos? And I said, I don't know if I'm saying it right. And he's like, yeah, you know, they look like a badass wiener dog on steroids. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I actually know a guy that has some. He's like, oh, no way. I'm like, yeah. I was like, well, they look like they're good dogs or whatever. But he's got those, what are those dogs that Joey's got? Those little, little
Yog Terriers.
Yog Terriers. He's like, yeah, man, it's like the wiener dog. He's like, it's like the wiener dog of the Yog Terriers, you know? It's like a little game-bred little wiener dog. I was laughing. I was like, yep.
Well, hey, I'm telling you, we got the only two, brother. We have the only two in the United States. If anybody wants to do the research, go to Wikipedia. The guys that come from High Point Kennels, they were, that's where they were, gosh damn it, I can't remember what it's called, imported to. And then from High Point Kennels, they were transported down here by a lady out of Georgia. and she met us in Alexandria, Louisiana. There's people out there that claim they got them, but they don't have the paperwork to show them. We have all the paperwork.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I know there's going to be people out there that'll argue with me, but yeah, I mean, we ain't gonna get on all that. But now I gotta ask you. Hey, you got any shout outs real quick? Shit, I get to talking to you. I forget we're even on the podcast. I'm just bullshitting with you.
Okay, well, I want to give a shout out to Cane Creek. I don't know if he got rid of all his dogs or not, but he was the one that had that Bama dog, the bobtail dog. Because I'm doing a little thinking drinking tonight, I give a shout out to Dixie Doggers. Give a shout out to Boars and Bras. Give a shout out to you, obviously. Randy Durrell, Jake Luciano, Uncle Pat, anybody that's doing anything in the dog world, aside of our differences, we may not get, have the same opinions or whatever, but I love all you guys. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep promoting the sport. There's probably more than that I could name. Like the guys, Josh Blasky and all those guys from Texas.
You're gonna have to text me all these, by the way, so I can tag them. By the way,
no, that's fine. Just anybody that's promoting the sport, even like there's people that are doing like the deer recovery right now. Jaslyn, she's got those Lacey dogs. I mean, there's just too many to name. Light hounds and their dogs. There's anybody that's doing anything in the dog sport. It's one of those things like people take it for granted because, having dogs is not really a hobby. To me, it's a lifestyle. And anybody that's promoting that and actually putting the dogs to work, I support it 100%. I might not agree with you, but at the same time, I'm still going to, provide unity and we'll agree to disagree. And you do your thing, I'll do mine. But at the same time, you're, bringing the younger generation up into the sport. And, nobody's promoted it more than Randy would with Goose, because there's people all over the world that tune in and watch that dog, just see him work, and he did a phenomenal job promoting him and everything. Jake's been putting on bay pens since I was a kid, since I was a youngster running around. Even before him, they had the bay pens down here in Village Mills. People bringing their dogs, like, look, this is my dog. I want to go see what he can do. If he catches out, if he jumps out of the pen, who gives a shit? That's my dog. I love him, that's what it's all about. Everybody can, like I was saying earlier, controversy sells, and that's great. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to me, I think that should be voiced more, because you got a bunch of people that are chicken shit, and they're like, well, oh, yeah, he's a really good guy to his face, and then behind his back, oh, fuck that guy. I don't like that guy. I don't like his dogs. I don't like plots. I don't like walkers. I don't like blue ticks, whatever. Well, what is that doing for everybody else? What kind of message are you sending to the younger guys?
Yeah.
Everybody needs to come together and just run their damn dogs. I mean, that's what it's all about, I don't care if you coon hunt, squirrel hunt.
50 of us together and drop shit, I got 34 head. You put my 34 head times 50 other people. Could you imagine how many dogs we drop in the woods? Shit.
Hey, no, let me put this into perspective for you. This is what I want to do all the time, and which I used to get on there and stir the pot a lot. Like, I fucked with Mr. Raymond Plummer a lot about his Catahoula dogs. I was like, yeah, man, a good Catahoula is kind of like Bigfoot. I've heard of them, but I've never seen them. So stuff like that. I'm the type of person to where if you're doing good and I'm doing bad, I'm thinking, what is he doing right that I'm doing wrong? And I want to learn from that person. So if you think that a walker hound, and I'm going to go ahead and put this out here, and I hope Uncle Pat's listening, if a walker hound can out-hunt a plot instead of putting it on the internet and just, doing little knick-knack bullshit back and forth about, oh, well, these are better, whatever, why don't you meet up and put the dogs on the ground and see what they can do? And that's how I am. If I think your dog, if me and you are having a disagreement, like you're saying these dogs, okay, this is a 10-year-old slow-starting plot hound.
Yep.
And I got a hound cur cross over here that's 6 months old that's showing potential, and we have a disagreement. I'm like, all right, let's go run them. let the dogs run. Don't run your mouth. Let's let the dogs run, and let the dogs do the speaking for us, and then we'll see what happens at the end. Then you may have a different perspective. I may, but I guarantee you one thing: we're going to have a damn good time.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. And the way I look at it as well is, I'm going to put it out there, man. I'm going to piss a lot of people off. So since I've started with this podcast, I've had 9 individuals. 9 individuals that have swore up and down that they have a one dog that will do it. Guess how many of them one dogs? It starts with a W and ends with was the breed type. Swore up and down that swore up and down that they were finished. They can do it all on their own. Well, when we pulled up to drop them, they, hey man, you're not going to cut your dogs out? I said, no. I said, you said there's a one dog show. Well, then they always bring multiple dogs. And, I'm like, no, it's a one dog deal. And they're like, man, you only got 2 dogs. I said, yeah, my newt dog and then my catch dog. And occasionally I'll bring my Nature's dog or whatever. And, look, I don't sit here and talk this shit on Facebook. I could literally degrade a huge amount of people. And I mean an astronomical amount of people. If I would just tag them, put their dog, and I mean, people would be shitting. They'd be like, there's no way this guy's got good dogs. I don't do it. They are mind blown when they come hunt with me because I tell them, I'm like, no, you drop your dogs and I'll drop mine exactly where you dropped yours. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can just guess how the outcome come because I just told you. It was just a whole different spiel. And then we were watching speeds. Look, when they're coming down here and hunting the stuff I'm hunting, my 4.3 mile an hour, 3.5 to 4.3 mile an hour average through the whole hunt, everybody's going to say bullshit, but on a finished hog was way faster. I had 2 of them with a W that ends in walker, we'll just say it, running walkers that were averaging, they were averaging, an outrageous amount just out running around. But when the hog was actually finished, it was right around that 3.7 to 4.5. They had maybe 0.2 more mile an hour. But see, I'm not throwing these statistics out and taking screenshots and throwing people under the bus and talking shit. Because, I started the podcast, I'm trying to spread unity.
Yeah.
But I know.
Well, see, I'm a different breed. I'll be talking shit to people and be like, well, yeah, I just don't think your dogs are that good. Like, I'm trying to get a new hunting spot. Shit, I'll go hunt with them, just piss them off and go there and hunt their real estate. Like, man, I don't know, man. Let's bring my dog, which I don't, but I kind of want to sometimes. It's like, well, fuck it. Let's see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, who really cares? I mean, we're all running dogs. Let's go run them together. Fuck. I mean, if it's that big of a deal, then you got something else going on. Like, it's really not that big of a deal.
It's not. But what bothers me the most is you are not going to sit there. Majority of these people are the ones that have talked shit on me, degraded me for being so new to it, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. And then they meet up and, oh, wow, we're in person. And it's like, you only brought 2 dogs? I'm like, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. Shit. And, push comes to shove and they're like, gosh, damn, this motherfucker only brought 2, and they got like 7 or 8. I'm like,
it goes back to, I don't know if you were around. Well, I know you were, but like when MySpace was big, you had all these forums, and you have keyboard warriors. Like, bring me another Hot Pocket Mom. I'm being a badass on MySpace. It's like, show up and let's do this thing. It's like, I can't say it enough. Let the dogs run. Don't run your mouth, because I'll tell you right now, some days my dogs look like superstars. If you ever brag on them, they're going to go catch a damn possum or something. Shit happens. They're not going to be 100% consistent, because if you go to talking good on a dog, they're going to prove you wrong. Just bring your dogs, put them on the ground, and see what they got. I mean, some days you come out on top, some days you don't. out of all the breeds, I mean, you can take a fucking weenie dog and go find a hog. I mean, you're going to prove that here pretty quick with those souped up weenie dogs you got.
You better leave my fucking weenie dogs alone.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Put them on the ground and see what's going on. Like, the debates on Facebook, I like them. You know, I love it when somebody's like, oh, fuck a walker. Oh, fuck a plot hound. Fuck a blue tick, whatever. But you know what I would really love to see? And I think everybody else would love to see too. Two people disagreeing on Facebook or whatever, show up, drop their dogs, and let them work.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think it would be, man, you know,
hey,
good job, you know, good dog work. That's what it's all about. Like, these dogs work.
Nope, believe it or not, it does not go that way. I'm telling you, it does not.
It don't go that way.
Fuck no. Hell no. It was, oh, these motherfucking pieces of shit, they never do this shit. Y'all's country, you got fucking running hogs. I mean, it's, you know, it's $1.5 million excuses.
Hey, let me tell you a story, going back, my brother's going to kill me for this, because he don't want to be on the podcast or nothing, but I ain't going to say his name, I'm just going to talk about his dog.
I talked to him, and he said, nah, I ain't coming on there. I said, motherfucker, yeah you are.
But, so him and a real good friend of his, he was, I ain't gonna say he liked starting the pot, but he wouldn't pull no punches. So they would go to a club, and back then they had some really good dogs, and the dogs are still good today, but like back in the day, he'll tell me to this day, he's like, these dogs ain't shit compared to what my old dogs were, you know. Well, they would go, and they'd get invited somewhere. They would go out there, and the guy had some dogs. They turned them loose. Well, he's looking at the track. He's like, man, that's a good hog, you know. Well, they turn the dogs loose. They run out there. You know, they make 500 or 800 yard loop, come back. Guy sends them again. They make another little loop and come back. And then they're like, all right, well, let's load up and go try this other spot. And they'd say, you want to bay these right here? He said, what? He said, yeah, I'm going to drop my dogs. Let's bay them right here. And turn them so much loose, and they ended up going out there and baying a hog. They didn't get no more invites. Like, fuck you, you ain't coming back over here. But, you know, I mean, that could happen to anybody, but, you know, I mean, how can you be mad because the dog did its job?
You can't. I mean,
some dogs are just used to that, and, you know, you have different scenarios. Some people hunt their dogs more. Like, I know a couple people down here, you know, they don't go to the bay pens, but they hunt their dogs 6 days a week. I mean, I know guys that work shutdowns all year, and they take off after deer season to run dogs. And their dogs are on the ground every day, just nonstop, baying hogs. Well, then you get a weekend warrior like myself, because, you know, I work for a living. I got a family to support, so I can't just run my dogs whenever I want to. And I may go with them, and, you know, my dogs may do better than theirs every now and then, but for the most part, the guys that are running the dogs every day, their dogs are showing out. And you're like, damn, I need to cull everything on my yard and start a new program. No, I need to hunt my dogs.
Yeah. Yep.
So you get out of it what you put into it. I mean, the more you hunt them, the better they're going to get. That's all it boils down to. And like you were saying, dogs that you had that wasn't going to make something, it was somebody else's cull, and then you went and made them a champion. Well, you put the work in. So how are you going to get mad at somebody when they're hunting 6 days a week and you're hunting 3 days on a weekend or 2 days on a weekend, and their dogs are blowing you out of the water? Well, you can't get mad because that dog is conditioned, and it's being set up for success. It's being hunted, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I love it. I mean, but, you know, a lot of the shit that bothers me is, you know, how negative the outlook is on the dog community. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous because of the people that do mistreat their dogs, and they have been, as in the hog dog world, they've mistreated them, and they've been recognized for that. And, like, for example, I took out a gentleman from, I took one. I can't remember where he was from now. He was either from Missouri or Colorado, because I've taken a few people out here lately that are from other places just to put them on a hog. And he was saying that, you know, he posted it, and people were like, they treat their dogs like shit, hog hunters, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, gosh, damn, they don't even have hogs in their territory.
Well, it's not for everybody, you know. And I hunt. Well, I work. So I work in a plant, and I'm in management for a plant. And you know, there's a lot of people that live in the city that wouldn't agree with what I do. They wouldn't agree with somebody sitting on a stand and shooting a deer.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and that's the way
it's all about how they were raised, what they've been exposed to, and how much of an open mind they have, you know. But, I mean, this country was built on what we're still doing today. And if we don't keep doing what we're doing, the tradition will die.
Yeah.
Now, and it goes back to, you know, different breeds or whatever, different perspectives. To each their own. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to have their way of doing things. We don't have to agree, but have an open mind to get along. I don't agree with the LGBTQ and all that, you know, and believing you're a damn cat and having a fucking litter box in a schoolhouse. But you know what? If you want to do that, this is America.
Do what you
do
want.
Your thing. Just stay the fuck away from me, you know.
And
I'm
my
not gonna.
kids, and my don't be fucking filling their heads with that bullshit. Like owning,
yeah,
owning a fucking
But at the same
herd
time,
dog.
I'm not gonna hate you for it because I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their own opinion, has their own way of raising, and all that. It's I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna hate them for it because you know.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's like it depends on the scenario. Like if you're around my kids, yeah, it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, I mean everybody is entitled to do whatever they want. I mean if you want to run a blue tick or a Catahoula, I mean you're feeding them. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean you're just gay, but we understand. It's okay. I mean shit.
I wasn't gonna go that far with it.
Oh fuck, shit! Did I say that out loud? No, I mean, I get it. I do.
Well, I mean, we need them too, though, because it makes our dogs look better, you know.
Fucking shit, you ain't wrong. So good. Oh gosh, damn. What is it? Anguilla Zawala hounds down there in Mexico. They got some motherfucking jam up blue ticks. I'm telling you, or South America. I can't remember.
Just so you know, I've hunted behind some jam up Catahoulas. I've hunted behind some jam up blue ticks. I just ain't never raised none on my own, you know.
Shit, I ain't been around fucking either one.
I just like giving them hell because they're like probably two of the most hated breeds out there.
Man, dude, I'm telling you, my favorite looking dog is a fucking Catahoula.
You can't beat them, dude. Glass eyes,
Pretty
patchwork. Oh my god!
I got 8 of them. I
talked to Raymond Plummer for a little while. I was aggravating him, and I almost bought a puppy from him. I just never pulled the trigger on it. I was like, man, that I've been done so wrong by that breed. I'm it's kind of like with my ex-wife. You know, I have a list of no school teachers, no hairdressers. You know. It's kind of like with the dog breeds. Like I'm pretty much done with Catahoulas and blue ticks. You'd almost have to show me what they can do before I would be sold on it. But not saying there's not good ones out there, you know.
No. I mean, we just had a litter of them. There's a little secret to them, but yeah, dude, Catahoula as Catahoula looks.
Did they come out of that goose dog?
Fuck no. You think Randy's gonna give old Alan Adams that motherfucker that talks shit on the bay pen?
I didn't want to call Randy out like this, but I went hunting with him and Goose, okay, and he wouldn't bay, but we caught the hog and put it in a pen, and it bayed the hell out of it.
Well, Goose is a phenomenal ass bay dog.
I'm talking shit.
Oh, motherfucker, I'm about to say, there ain't dude, Goose is a fucking jam up bay dog. I'm not lying, but I mean, I would be very curious, and it's shitty of me to say this, I would be very curious what would happen if Goose were to get cut down one time. I want to see what that dog would do.
I can contest for that. I seen him get cut up there in Downsville.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That shit I don't know.
I was always curious. He never bobbled. He got mad. Which Randy walked up and me and him had a good conversation before it. And, I'm not like a real good friend of Randy's, but I have seen him, and several times, and he's a stand-up guy. He always takes time to talk to the little people or whatever. But he told me when he was walking in there, he said, man, he had like one of the first runs, and he told me, man, I'm kind of worried about this. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, he's hot. And sure enough, he went in there and got rough, which I think he still bait a 10, but it was he almost had a catch out, but Goose did get cut real good on the shoulder, and hell, I think he bayed like 5 times after that, and he just stood the line and did what he did. So I mean, you can't knock that dog. That dog right there is an anomaly. There probably won't never be another one like him. He's a real deal when it comes to Catahoulas. He's everything a Catahoula should be if you put his ass in the woods. You know?
Yeah, you ain't convincing him to touch that. There ain't no way. Dude, I don't think you could pay Randy enough. Honestly, I don't think you could pay him all of Goose's winnings. And that shows a true dogman right there. He loves that.
That would be like taking Mike Tyson and putting him into the UFC. And somebody taking him down.
I mean, you've seen it with Kimbo Slice.
That's not going to happen.
You've seen it with Kimbo Slice. Kimbo was a street fighting motherfucker. He goes to the UFC, got that ass tore up, son.
He knocked a few people out.
Look, don't even fucking talk him up. You know, I'm telling you right, even when I was in high school, man, number one thing I was told, Alan, you can't take him to the ground. If you take him to the ground, we're separating the fight. You know, it's fucking. There's so many rules and stupid shit. And
well, that was like I had a yellow dog that I got from a guy, and I paid $500 for this dog. It's supposed to be a good dog, whatever. Well, when I got her, she didn't do shit. She wouldn't cast, she wouldn't track, but she was a wind dog. Well, I started putting her in the flats out there off the river in them old Mayhaw flats, and she started showing out, baying the hell out of hogs. And then I took her enough to where, I mean, hell, I got her to where I could take her off the buggy and I could put her on a track and she'd go bay hogs. Well, when I got her, she'd never done it before. You know, I mean, she was just a wind dog or a help dog. If another dog barked, brother, she'd peel the bark off the trees going in there and, I mean, hold a hog there all day long. But that's not what she was bred for. And that's not how she was trained before. It took a little bit of time, but some of them, you just have that anomaly, you know, where they actually just click and they do their thing. Well, the guy that I got her from bought her back from me and made him pay for it. But he took her and sold her as a finished dog to a guy. And the guy, just random, I seen the guy on Facebook and he posted something about it. And I called him. I said, "Hey, you got my old dog?" And I explained her to him, and he told me. I said, "Yeah." And I told him how to hunt her. Well, he started catching hogs with her. And it's just, sometimes you got to put them in the right, scenario and the right geographical location for them to succeed. Then I called the guy back, and I was like, "Hey, I want that jip because I want to breed her." And he's like, "No, she's not for sale." Like, there's no amount of money that could get her from me when he was wanting to cull her,
Gosh damn.
Yeah, shit happens,
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. We were just talking about the bay pen discussion. I'm going to start asking every single guest this.
Okay.
Don't even fucking be biased. I'm telling you right now, who is your favorite all time bay pen dog?
Out of all of them?
Out of every single bay pen dog in history.
So I don't know a whole lot of them. Like, I didn't know the Crow dog. I'm sure he was phenomenal. But my favorite bay pen dog of all time is Cowboy.
I respect
the one that the Randy has, that yellow dog.
Oh, hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you.
Hang on, and my number 2 dog is Gomer.
Gomer? Okay, yeah, I know Gomer as well. SMK, ain't it? Yeah. So, but... See, I keep up with that
shit. Hang on, I think I'm getting them crossed up. What's that coon ass that has that yellow dog? Is that dog Gomer? No. It's he was
see,
heavyweight
now,
champ.
here we are, Woods fucking hunters, talking about the shit. We're about to get so much shit for this.
Hang on, it's that coon ass over there. Oh my God, I can't remember his name, but it's a yellow dog, but he's really a Catahoula. It's
God
not Gomer.
damn it! You know how much shit we're gonna get for this one? I'm not editing it out either.
Fuck it. It's what's that guy's name?
I thought Gomer was with SMK.
Gomer's a really good dog too. I like him. I'd have to say he's number 3, but it's a yellow dog. Hand grenade. That's him.
Oh,
so
dude, motherfucker, that's my number 1 dog. Fuck you. Jeremy Pagoda.
I would say no. Fuck that. I would say Cowboy number 1.
Oh no, not hand grenade. Sancho.
Just from the time that I've watched him. Hand grenade number 2, Gomer number 3.
Okay.
Out of the dogs, I take that back. So there was 2 yellow dogs, and I got in trouble. So I went to Downsville for the first time in years because, Jake quit having the Bayans over here in Village Mills. And there was 2 yellow dogs, and I mean, they were tearing that hog's ass up. And they ended up catching out. And I'm over there, whoo, hell yeah, And they were like, hey, you got to be quiet. And I'm like, well, fuck. I said, I don't know whose dogs those are, but I'll buy both of them right now. Like, that's what I want, I love a yellow dog. Well, and I think that's kind of why I'm kind of biased because, Hand Grenade and Cowboy are both yellow, but Cowboy, man, that dog right there, I mean, he just take a beating. He's old, and then,
hey,
that year
look,
when the dog, was it 2 years ago, the dog jumped on him?
Hey, that's what I was about to tell you. That story, I was there with Cody Jeffcoats, and Cody's dad and I were the ones that doctored Cowboy. I'm not lying. I sat there and I was holding fucking pickling lime and a bunch of other shit on Cowboy's ear, and Randy couldn't figure out who the fuck did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right about that. Cowboy got jumped on.
That dog right there has got a lot of heart, a lot of time. I mean, I think it's kind of because of how old he was and seeing what he could do. But, I appreciate a good dog, and that, in my opinion, and, that's just from me looking at the bay pens because, I'm no expert. I haven't been around when all the other dogs were there or whatever. But that dog right there showed me everything I wanted to see in a bay pen. Like, I would go just to watch Cowboy. Yeah. And then I know Randy retired him, but I think he brought him back out this year. And I wish I could have been there to see him work. That dude is phenomenal.
Yeah. See, mine, since we ain't covered it yet, mine right now is Sancho. Jeremy Pagoda owns him, I believe.
I've heard that name, and I've probably seen him bathe, but
it was just so badass how he did it. I'm telling you, man, the handle, I'm not saying he has this handle every single time. This was my first experience at Uncle Earl's, and we was just standing there bullshitting, and fucking Sancho was baying it. He baited 10 on this one, and 5 seconds left, he goes, "Catch him, son, catch him, or you can catch him now," or some shit. And that fucking dog caught that motherfucker. I said, "Oh yeah, I like that dog." And I mean, I'm sure there's.
Hey, what do you? While we on the subject, you know old Slick Wayne Willie?
Yo, Slick. Yeah, I love that motherfucker, dude.
I sat there and watched his dog bathe, and the dog made a mistake, and I was sitting there and I was watching. I was like, "Man, them dogs are working," Well, man, I don't know this guy from Adam, but he was like, "Fuck it, catch him, son." Wow. Caught that. I was like, oh, yeah, that's my type of dog right there, buddy.
Dude, look, you can talk all the shit you want on bay pens, but some of them motherfuckers can tell a dog to do it, and they gonna do it.
Yeah.
You got to give them respect at that point. I mean, and when Jeremy, the main reason I gained respect for that old boy, it was because and he's not a boy, he's a grown man, but we was walking through the deal, he was about to, I was fucking drinking, just hanging out watching the shit. And Feed Jake came on, which is a sad fucking dog song, as a lot of people know. And the man was like, "Man, I can't fucking listen to this shit." And I knew he cared for a dog. And I was like, I can respect a man that cares for a dog. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But that fucking Uncle Earl shit, man, is fucking fun. God damn. You better.
Oh, dude. I mean, you're not going to ask for a better time. You bring all, and you know what really blows my mind is all the wood hunters that go up there. They don't even bring a dog, but they still go. And a lot of them go for the vendors and for the show, and a lot of them want to go see the big name dogs and stuff like that. But it brings everybody together because at that time, it doesn't matter if you caught 10 hogs that weekend or whatever. Everybody's there. They have dogs. They're watching dogs work, and they appreciate it. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
I'm not going to go enter a dog in the bay pen, but you know what? When I get a chance, I'm going to go watch them.
Yeah, shit, I ain't competing in that motherfucker. There ain't no way. I know what I got, and everything in my yard is, with the exception of like 4, are going to put their nose in the ground.
Well, here's the deal. I was like talking to my brother. I was like, man, we've had some dogs that bayed pretty good. I was like, man, I really want to go to this bay pen deal, right? So we got a bay pen at the house, and we were messing around, and I brought some of my dogs over there, and 90% of them, when you put them in a pen, they catch. Or they're looking over their shoulder at you. I'm like, well, shit, this is not going to work. That's where it goes to. And I asked Randy, I was like, what do you do to get your dog? I'm trying to like figure this shit out and actually go and maybe compete one day or whatever. I'm like, what do you do to your dogs? Like, do you train them? Do you bay them at your house? He's like, I don't even talk to them. If I talk to them, they'll catch, or whatever. And, that just, brings back into perspective the breeding program. When we were talking about bay pen dogs and woods dogs, you can't, I don't know if you can teach it or not. I mean, there may be tricks of the trade or whatever, but a dog's either going to do it or they're not. And you start breeding those traits, you get a breeding program right. Obviously, Randy's got it right because, he's got how many dogs?
Fanboy, Goose,
Fanboy, Goose, Blue Boy.
He's got a bitch right now, don't he? I think he's got a jip that's doing good. I can't remember her name.
Probably, but obviously he's got it figured out. And then, and me just being me, why would I want to go try to compete with somebody that's got it figured out when I've been hog hunting for, consistently for the last 8 to 10 years, and I learn something new every time I go. If I was going to the bay pen world, it would be starting all over again.
Yeah.
And I would completely have to change my breeding program because my dogs will not do it. I've tried it. I've got a couple dogs that are probably bay good in the pen, but 90% of them, they're going to be, because I hunt all the time, they're going to be looking for the catch dog and looking out, or all the people there, like that goes back in the day when you could still go and show roosters in Louisiana back in 2008. People would take their birds and they would put like a loud radio on, or they'd have a bunch of people around when they were sparring them, whatever. You got to get them, used to that environment. Yeah. If you're going to go to a bay pen and you've got 200 or 300 people on the outside of the pen hooping and hollering, kids are screaming and playing, the radios, whatever, you got to have a dog that's going to be dialed in and still do their job. Like Randy had a fucking drone fly over Cowboy and Goose while they were baying. You know how many dogs would have looked up?
Who did that dumb shit?
I believe it was on. It was a little bit older in the social media, but it was. I want to say either Carter or Ryan, or it might have been Randy that shared it, because they were asking him, like, is it going to bother your dogs? He goes, fuck no. Goose and Cowboy are going to look at the hog.
I thought it was just some random person that was doing it to fuck them up.
No. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, they videoed it because it was badass. So you got the footage of up above the bay pen. But, I don't know any dog that would have been sitting there baying the hog instead of looking up. Which, the drones are quieter and stuff nowadays, but it just goes back into bloodlines, and I don't know if there's training involved or whatever, but my dogs won't do it.
That right there, Michael, I gotta agree with you.
A fucking butterfly flies by, they're going to be like, what the fuck is that? But much less a drone or people hooping and hollering.
Yeah. Man, the way I look at it, to be honest with you, is I don't believe that you can legitimately train a dog to do the type of shit Goose does. Now, I'm in agreement with. That has got
that sidestep on that dude, oh my God. And then his puppies are doing it. It's just, that dog is special.
Yeah, he's good.
If there was a Hall of Fame of bay dogs, he's going to be in it, number one, guaranteed. I don't think anybody will ever touch him, ever.
No, I don't know, Fanboy, shit.
No, he's good, but I don't think he's got, like, Goose was doing it when he was 10 months old. Fanboy's like, what, 3 or 4?
Goose?
Goose was baying 10s and putting points on the board when he was 10 months old.
Yeah, but Goose
I may be wrong, but from what I followed,
Goose is older than 5. He's got to be like
no.
6
Goose is like, he's like 7 or 8, I think. But I'm talking about Fanboy is I don't know, I may be wrong, but like 3 or 4. Goose was doing it when he was 10 months old.
Okay.
So Fanboy is like way behind him. Like, I don't think that he has enough years left to put the points on the board to catch up with him.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, yeah. Shit, I don't know. I try to pay attention to it, but not that close of attention. Not in a bad way. I don't know really the point system. I mean, I know the rules on it, but
look, I got some dudes from Houston that I work with. These fools ain't never even owned a dog. And they talk about Goose. They're like, man, you hog hunt, you know that Goose dog? I'm like, yeah, I know him.
Yeah, that's what happened with the first time I met Randy and them at Uncle Earl's. I did. That's where I went to Uncle Earl's to buy dogs to get into hog hunting. Shit, I didn't own but 2 dogs that I didn't even hog hunt yet. I never been to the woods, and I went there to get dogs and shit. And then I met Randy. Randy was welcoming, took pictures with me and shit. I won a buckle, believe it or not, everybody. Yeah, I won a buckle from Uncle Earl's.
Didn't you buy the dog that you went up there and won the buckle with?
Yeah, I didn't fucking earn shit. We'll be honest. I didn't teach that dog nothing. I bought him, and they said he won't bark at a hog, but he'll go out a mile.
Yeah.
That's a true story. So I bought him. And, yeah, that dog fucking sure as shit went out about a mile, but he did about 37 million circles and never left that spot. I walked out multiple times over a mile to grab that dog and bring him back, and he never bait a hog. But he won me a buckle and the bay pin.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I'm being honest with y'all. I bought him because I was told I didn't buy him as a bay pin dog. Let's be very clear about this portion of the story, y'all. Thanks for bringing it up because I probably never had told this story. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it like I trained this dog. I showed up to Uncle Earl's. I wanted to buy some dogs. I decided to buy this dog. They said somewhere along the lines it was related to Goose. I'm not sitting here trying to say it was. I was informed it was his brother. I was informed it was his litter mate. I was informed. That's how the hog dog world is. They're going to tell you a million things to get you to buy a dog. Do I think this dog had any relation to Goose? I don't know. I'm not one to speak for it. The way he bayed, he bayed all right, like especially woods-wise. But I've never caught a hog with him in the woods, of course. But I did. I was told he won't bark at a pig is all I was told. I was like, I don't give a shit about that part. If he'll go out, maybe he'll take some other dogs out with him. And so I bought him. And then that night, I spent a lot of entries. Oh my goodness, I paid a lot of money for entries. I bought entry after entry after entry to put these dogs in this pen. I said, well, fuck if, I've hunted with a buddy a time or two, and their dogs will hold a bay for 2 hours, 3 hours long. And they weren't buddies, I guess. I've never really hunted with them ever since. But I seen that, and I was like, well, shit, I need something like that. And if this dog can't do it in a pen for 2 minutes 15 times, then I don't need him. You know the way I'm looking at it. But I'm putting too much math and too much thought into it. Well, he ended up being really good. And he bayed like a 9-9, a 9-9, a 9-9, a 9-9, back to back to back to back. And he ended up doing really good. So I had him, and yeah, I took him to the woods, and he was not worth a fuck. He wasn't worth a shit. He was absolute dog shit. Literally to the point, like, there was a bay 30 yards from where he was doing circles. He would just do circles. I don't know. I got my thoughts to it, but I'm not going to say anything. But he was doing circles, and he would not even acknowledge a hog in the woods. He just would do his circles.
Well, let's change gears. I'm going to tell you a good hunting story.
All right, let's
so I wrote it, and I put it in Tuskers magazine, but we were talking about dogs off Facebook. Well, I had some pretty good bay dogs, and two of them are two of my oldest dogs out on the yard right now. And that yellow Jip I was telling you that I sold back to the guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So I had just got her the night before, and a buddy of mine, they have a lease that they don't run. They one crew come run dogs once a year. That's it. Well, me and him worked together for years, and I posted some pictures and videos of hogs on Facebook and stuff, just me and my family. And he reached out to me. He was like, hey, man, I want you to come over here and run dogs in my club. So I called my brother. I was like, let's go. He's like, fuck yeah, let's go. New real estate, whatever. Well, anyway, we went over there and we made a little hunt. And then, we caught a couple of good boar hogs with this bulldog that I bought off Facebook. Well, he was a protection dog that this guy used for like bite work. And he was supposed to be like a really good pit bull. Well, the following weekend, we went to another club that we always go to, and there's usually some pretty decent hogs on there. So we're the only hog hunters on it. We manage the hogs. There's a lot of bar hogs and stuff out there, stuff like that. Well, our bulldogs were cut down from the previous weekend, and I had that bulldog that I'd caught a few hogs with that did the bite work, bought off Facebook. Well, actually, the guy gave him to me off Facebook, whatever. And so we go to this club, and in rare form, we show up, and my brother's dog gets off the fucking lead while we're trying to let him use the bathroom and stuff and collar him up. And he goes across the property line and bays a hog in the club we're not supposed to be at. So it's a fiasco. He's over there trying to get his dog back. It still has the lead on it. He's freaking out, thinking that it might get tangled up in the briars, whatever. So we call another dog up, send it, and the guys that were on the club we were supposed to go hunting on, they're like, hey, let's go ahead and go down here. So I let everybody go, and they turned the dogs loose, and we caught a few hogs or whatever. Well, the president of the club is my buddy. He was like, hey, let's go over here and check the spot. Well, we get up there, and I turn my old dog loose, and he runs out there about 500 yards and starts baying. I turned his brother loose, which is a year younger than him. He runs out there. He starts baying. I'm like, this is great. Like, we're finna catch the hog. Well, I had that little yellow jip, and my son's like, what do you want me to do with her? Because she was trying to jump off the box. I didn't want her to hang herself. I was like, turn her loose. Well, she runs like 900 yards past my two old dogs baying. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck she's doing, whatever. Well, she bays like 900 yards. Well, I told the guys, I was like, because we're on an invite, and these guys do not hog hunt at all whatsoever. They're avid deer hunters. That's all they do. And I said, hey, my dogs are bayed. Come on, let's go. And they're like, no. Like, we're going to go get the trailer to put the hogs in or whatever. Okay. So we go in there, we catch the hog, we come out. This is leading up. This is a long story. So this dog has caught hogs. Okay. That's what I'm getting at. Like, he did his job. The following weekend, we go to this other lease, and we had an old dog. This dude, it reminds me of a cowboy. He was a yellow dog, but he wasn't a yellow dog. He was like Hound Kurt Cross, but he looked yellow. He'd been on the chain for a while, whatever. My buddy brought him. I'm not going to bring the old man, let him stretch his legs. This fool runs off the road about 70 yards and bays. But when we pulled up that morning, looping back around, all the dogs are cut up, the catch dogs or whatever, and I bring this dog. Well, my buddy looks at him and goes, is that all y'all brought? And I'm like, man, I've caught 200-pound boar hogs with him. Like, I think he's all right. I think he's going to be okay. And he's just like, we're fucked. I'm like, no, this dog's going to be good. So anyway, this old dog's baying, and my dogs are trying to jump off the box. So I have a brindle dog, a black and tan, and then I had this bulldog. Well, I took my brindle dog and black and tan, and I tied them up on the tree. And they're Hound Kurt Crosses, but they look like hounds. I tied them up to the tree. I grabbed my bulldog. I don't have a dog on the ground at this point, right? We walk in there, and there's a stump hole where this tree had blew over, and they have the hog bed behind it. Well, I can't see the fucking hog. All I know is a spade. So I turn my bulldog loose, and I come running around this fucking stump ball like a bat out of hell, because I'm right behind my dog. And you know what I'm talking about. When I come around the root ball, my bulldog goes over the top of my head. The hog threw him out. And this is a stone. I said, oh, my God. The hog blew by me. Barely missed me. I'm like, holy shit. What happened? Where's my bulldog? So the dogs run down through the cutover, and they bay again. Well, I'm looking for my bulldog. I'm like, where's my fucking bulldog at? And my brother's like, dude, I don't know. Maybe he went back to the four-wheeler. I'm like, this is a game bred pit bull. Like, there's no way. I walk back to the four-wheeler. This son of a bitch is on the box.
Oh, fuck.
Like, don't want no part of it. He's on the box. I said, oh, my God. Well, I grab him off the box and I put him on the lead. I walk him in there. He starts pulling on the lead again, hearing the dog's bay. I'm like, okay, maybe it was just a fluke, whatever. This hog, it was big, you know. So we go in there. Well, we're sitting there and all the dogs have it bayed in the creek. We're sitting there watching them bay, and this bulldog's pulling on this lead. And I told my brother, I was like, man, I said, well, I'm finna send him again. He's like, fuck it, send him again. So I turn him loose, and he jumped, like Superman dives off the bank, hits the water, starts swimming. And they got this big bastard bayed, like, in the middle of the creek. Well, as soon as the hog turns around, the dog turns around and starts swimming back to me. Some bitch leaves and goes and gets back on the four-wheeler. And I'm like, what is going on? And we're sitting there shaking our heads. We're like, we got this big-ass hog bayed. The fucking bulldog keeps getting on the four-wheeler. I don't know what's going on. And my buddy's like, I fucking told you about buying dogs off Facebook or getting dogs off Facebook, blah, 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 you know. And, you know, we're just gigging each other back and forth. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. My brother's like, look, I got a lariat rope on the buggy. Let's go get the lariat rope. We're going to rope this bastard, and we'll tie it up. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, about that time, me and him start walking back to the four-wheeler, and we hear, help, I got him, help. We're like, oh, shit. So we take off running down the bank, and he's got this hog legged in the creek. My buddy does. I'm like, all right, sweet. So we jump in there. It took all three of us to pull this hog up on the bank. It was a pretty good-sized hog. We get it tied up, and I'm not even looking at the dogs at this point. I'm worried about the hog. We get him tied up. We're all pumped up, high-fiving. I'm like, dude, how the hell did you catch him? He goes, that Brindle dog caught him. And I went, and I was like, wait a minute. I got the only Brindle dog here. I said, Willie's on, I got him tied up in a tree at the road. He said, this Willie? And he grabs him by the collar and pulls him up. And it's my fucking dog, dude. So I'm like, what is going on? So I grab him and bring him over the tree, tie him up on a lead. And we're sitting there, you know, and we're looking at the hog, and we're still like high-fiving, like, oh, man, this is awesome. It was he ended up weighing 317 pounds, bar hog. But I'm like, what happened? While we're standing there taking pictures, Willie gets off the fucking lead again and runs over there and ears the hog on the ground. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So I grab him and pull him back again. So this little bastard spun around in a circle. How he did it twice, I'll never know. And it somehow unsnapped the lead. And he told me, he's like, dude, when that Brindle son of a bitch come off that bank, he was all gas and no brakes. He said he never barked. He come off the bank and caught the hog in the creek. I guess he was just so pumped up from hearing the other dogs baying and being tied up on the road. When his lead come unsnapped, he just come straight in and caught. But we would have never caught that hog if he wouldn't have got there. Like all the rest of the dogs, this hog done cut the shit out of a couple of them, and, you know, he's just thrashing. I mean, it was a pretty good hog. And so I wrote that story, and I put it in Tuskers magazine, and the title to it is a 317-pound bar and a junkie bulldog. But behind that story was Facebook bulldog, you know.
Yeah. I get you. Well, that was awesome. That was a badass story. Look, you already know you're going to be back on here, so.
Well, yeah, I got to go to work in the morning anyway. We've probably been on a little bit longer than we should have, but it's all good.
You got to answer one more question. Favorite dog of all time?
Man, I talked to my brother about this earlier, because I knew you were going to ask it, right? I've got two dogs on the yard right now. They're old. I say old. They're 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. And they are phenomenal. But the dog that comes to mind when I think favorite dog of all times, I had, and my brother's got the sister to her right now. They're actually red tick, but they're not. They are colored red tick, but they're kind of like a cross of dogs. I had a dog that I called Claire. And she was a year old. She got killed in the woods. But she's my favorite dog of all times and the dog that I hated of all times. When she was 6 months old, I could have strangled her. She had more drive out of anything I've ever seen in my life. At a year old, the day she died in the woods, she winded off the top of the box, and it's when I first started hog hunting for real with my own hounds. she was a phenom. Like when you turned her loose, she was gonna bay. She would stay gone all day long. If she got on the hog, she wouldn't quit it. She would just stay. She got me in so much shit. We would go, trespassing, going to other properties. I had to go get her like 5 miles a couple times. She swam the river on me. She just was a pain in my ass, but favorite dog of all times. She was a red tick colored up gyp. You could track hunt her. She would wind. She would rig. You could cast her. When I turned her loose, I never come up in a dry run. It may not be a hog all the time, but she just was a phenomenal dog. I think about it today. If she wouldn't have got killed when she did, she probably would have been hands down my best dog. I mean, at a year old, what a lot of people call nowadays on Facebook a finished dog, she was that at a year old. Like she was phenomenal. You just kick her out and she would produce game. When I think of my favorite dog of all times, I know that, I've got dogs that are older and I've had a lot of dogs over the years, but she's the one that sticks out. And I tried to buy her litter mate several times, and the guy's quote was, "You couldn't get these dogs if you had a golden monkey." Cause I call him about, once a year and tell him, "Hey, bud, I got a golden monkey. I'm on my way." And he's like, "Nah, you're not getting these dogs."
God damn. Well, shit, that's a good one too. Well, I hate to cut it off right there, but I already know you're coming back on, so I ain't too worried. We gonna have we got plenty more stories to cover in the future, man. And I'm probably gonna post this one. I'm gonna be honest, even at the end of it, I'm gonna leave this part that we're talking about on the podcast. I'm gonna post it as like shit talking with Michael Smith or something like that.
Yeah, do that, because, otherwise you'll get canceled with my ass on here. It's just raw content, brother. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. I'm the same way. If you see me on social media or if you see me in person, I'm never going to change. Like, me and you had our little disagreement earlier. We're still friends, It's just be honest and be true to yourself and be true to your dogs and just run the damn dog, as Carter and Ryan says it. It's all about honesty, integrity, and unity, and that's what everybody has to do. You don't have to agree. You can agree to disagree, but that's about the only way you can put it. Everybody has to come together and just let the dogs work, man.
The way I look at it is make the shit talking funny. Quit being so sensitive about it. Everybody is so fucking
brother,
sensitive.
I work in the fucking plants, okay? So you got to leave your feelings at the gate.
That's what makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Most of these motherfuckers that get so offended swear they're these badass, I almost said a certain person's fucking work, or whatever his fucking title. But I'm like, how the fuck do you work in that field and you are that fucking sensitive? There is no... If you worked with fucking me, you would quit the second fucking day. The only reason you're making it through the first day is because you're in orientation with the safety guy. Then you come to me the second day, you're fucked. You are fucked.
Yeah,
it makes no sense how... I don't get it. I'm like, gosh, damn, these are some sensitive motherfuckers, bro.
Hey, we're all men. If you can't take it... You can't take a joke, then it is what it is.
But it ain't a dick, it's a joke. Don't take it so hard.
I almost said it. I was like, if you can take a dick, you can take a joke.
Yeah. Fuck.
No, but, everybody just needs to come together and just get over it. We're all human. The only difference between, I ain't going to say just me and you because there's a million people out there like us, but you have people that say what they feel or say what they think, and you have people that say what's politically correct. You just got to be yourself, If people love you or hate you, that's out of your control. If you love me, cool. If you hate me, cool. You know what? I still love you either way,
Politically, I don't want to hear you sitting there saying you're a Trump supporter and then you want to be politically correct. You ain't a fucking Trump supporter. You might as well go ahead and kick the road and join them fucking What ASPCA protecting weird people? Yeah, go ahead and be with them, boy. I'm telling you, it blows my mind, the sensitivity in the dog world. I just was, for how tough it is to actually go and catch a hog, man, there's some sensitive motherfuckers in it. I'm telling you. It blows your mind. And,
look, the only reason I'm even on this podcast is because me and you are buddies and we talking bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't want any kind of recognition. I don't give a damn about anybody. I'm a family man. I take care of my family, and that's it. I like to have a good time. I like to bullshit. I like to talk dogs. That's why I'm on here. I don't care about anybody's persona or their agenda. If you're happy, I'm happy for you. This is just two good old boys talking shit. You know, don't get your feelings hurt.
We might need to start. We might need to make this like a series, like every 2 weeks or something. We get on
God,
there,
man!
and we just offend every fucking buddy. I don't really give a shit. I'm not trying to offend them. But if you are that fucking sensitive, do not claim to be this person that's big in the dog world when you're really not. If you get offended that fucking easy and you're not willing to support other broadcasts like we are, you just give up. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, if you're that sensitive, you ain't gonna make it in the dog world anyway. Because if I had feelings, I would have quit a long time ago, brother.
Oh, I'd be fucked.
I'd quit every weekend almost. You know,
shit,
sometimes
my dogs are more fucking hard on me than any human is.
Oh my God. Yeah. My wife told me a while back, she was like, we need to hire somebody to come take care of all these animals. And I was like, hell no. Like, that's the fun part of it, you know?
Fuck, yeah. Yeah. We'll get on all them topics again. Fuck, I gotta get you back on. We didn't cover shit on this one but shit talking. So,
hey, that's what it's all about, man. We'll get back on. Next time, come with me. I mean, this right here was kind of spare the moment type shit, you know?
I know.
If you'll give me an agenda and some topics, I'll try to be a little bit more prepared.
I don't, though. I'm telling you, I don't. I never do. I tell everybody the same shit. I'm like, hey, this ain't scripted. We're just going to jump into it. I promise. Everybody that's been on here can tell you that. I don't script. I fucking told you this, by the way. Multiple times we've talked.
Yeah.
But, all right, man. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to fucking post it and see how much hate we get from it. There's going to be plenty.
That's fine. Maybe we'll get some new hunting properties out of this shit. Maybe somebody want to see if their dogs can do what they say they do on Facebook, you know?
And then I can go behind and trespass on all their shit while they're not there. Hell yeah. That's what I
would do all that. Yeah, right. I know you better than that, motherfucker. All right, have a good night, brother. I'll holler at you after a while.
Bye. Yeah. Thank y'all for listening to that episode. I'm telling y'all right now, that was fucking awesome. That's all I gotta say. I never do this at the end of one. There's a lot of honesty in there, and I'm sure majority of y'all probably ain't even made it this far because you got too offended. If you got offended, I would really look at why you got offended and maybe take that and use it as a learning tool. Anything that offends me, I'm like, damn, why is that offending me? Maybe I need to fix it. That's all I got to say, y'all. Thanks for listening to Tusks Tales.